Steve's abusing me.
Nothing but the
It's
truth.
slander. Is what it is.
It's not slander.
LaBelle.
You have not been slandered.
LaBelle, like Patty.
It's like Patty LaBelle.
Ugh.
God damn you.
Hey,
the devil.
Steve, I need a sound test from you. Sound check from you real quick.
Don't do to the devil!
All you ever want from me is a sound test.
Well,
You never ask me for anything else. I never get anything in
Yeah,
return. It's always
Steve has
just,
a headache.
Steve, sound test. Steve, sound test.
Mike.
What does this button do?
No, like in the night,
It
like
releases the
Murdock's all
back
like,
of the
give me a
phone.
sound test. And like Steve's like, fine, you know, even though he has a headache,
Ka.
he's tired, or you know.
I'll still give you a sound test.
You see? And
Yeah,
like,
he'll call you
All
like
right.
at midnight.
It's like 2 in the morning. The bar is closed. Murdock calls me and he's like, I
Sound
need a
test.
sound test.
And you're like, God damn it.
Dead damn it, I'm trying to sleep. Fine, whatever. Get your ass over here.
Does he go to the bar?
Murdock?
Yeah, I
Do you go to
wouldn't.
bars?
It
No.
doesn't matter if
I
he goes to the
wouldn't have
bar.
thought
The
he-
bar's closed at 2.
How should I-
It's not conditional.
How close should I be? Like this? Like I'm a rock star?
Is that like a beverage or a sexual, like a...
Hello.
No, you don't have to. You know,
I think it's a little bit of
You don't need to
column
do
A
that.
and a
Hi
little bit
there.
of column B.
you.
You put the
Can
lime
I
coke
be
in
like?
it,
Can I be like right
Yes.
and
No.
you mix
The
them both
Vulcan
together.
I
in your
can't hear
mind
you.
and you
So
give
there
it
is
to
a-
If you're at this distance where I'm at, you are okay.
there? Okay.
Mike.
Otherwise,
I need training.
Tell
on
you
kind of
what,
brainstem.
to let you go.
Cool,
Okay.
like,
Have we started yet?
wanted, dead or alive,
Exactly.
right?
I'm unplugging your mic.
You're mean.
Okay. All right. Have I started yet?
Just say it.
This was the worst place to do a
Just say
do
it.
a recording ever.
say it.
All right.
What, do you not like the acoustics?
I like the electrics better.
Oh, well, you know, I'm a big fan of the knack.
The neck.
The knack, you
Do
fool.
it.
Like my
All
Sharona.
right. Quiet, you.
My Sharona.
Just do it fast.
Quiet.
Mike, did you live in the last 30 years?
If people download it, they're already going to know what it is. Say it fast.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I can't do it now.
This is a podcast about video games.
Yes.
Yes.
It's about selling
And
video
stuff.
games to morons.
All right.
All
We're
right.
not going to talk about video
All right. This is.
Yeah, baby.
Shut up.
One more time.
God.
Hey, man. You
I
can't,
hate
tell everybody to be
my
quiet.
life now.
Tonight on Diehard Gamer Radio, Murdock goes on a spree and kills everyone.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
no, it's very
a
Orwellian.
very special episode of Die Hard Gamer
Starring
Radio.
Lindsay Wagner as the
Yes.
cop.
And Lindsay
Yes.
Lohan as the... Never mind.
Okay.
Can she be the streetwise prostitute?
Yes.
With the heart of gold.
Streetwise, she's just not prostitute.
She's a streetwise cop with a heart of gold.
I thought she was just a whorebag.
Yes.
She can be that too.
She's got her badge all hanging out.
That's awesome.
Why am I recording that?
I don't know.
All right.
It'll go great on the blooper.
Okay.
All right, shush.
Shut up. This
Yeah.
this is the die.
Now we're getting started. Shut up.
We weren't trying to get started, but he keeps false starting. It doesn't help.
I should do this in post.
Yeah, we keep telling you what you should do.
What the hell's
Okay.
wrong with you? You can
Well, this is
pretend
the
that it's live, and then the audience will never know. It'll just
quiet you.
And
Jeez.
then we can get like canned laughter.
I have that actually, and I have like 30 versions of the Wilhelm scream.
That's
Can we get
awesome.
like the canned applause as well?
Yeah, I've got all of that.
Awesome.
We can make it sound like an 80s sitcom.
The cat calls.
Sweet. Is it gonna have that one guy going oh in the back?
Play Freebird.
Murdock, I advise you just to go to a topic.
All right.
Say, welcome to Die Hard Gamer Radio.
Okay, so this is the Die Hard Gamer Radio retail special. I'm recording this from my friend's anime store for Lord knows why.
Because
You
it
love-
results in quality.
Sure.
Comparatively to what you normally are recording, I mean.
Well, I mean, relative to crap is awesome.
Exactly.
It's standard quality.
Or like if you have shit, then crap is better because it's
No,
not
it's
a
the
swear
same
word.
thing.
The standard, substandard, diehard gamer
Yes.
radio.
Exactly.
All right, now Kyle, you really need to talk into the mic if you want to be heard.
Well,
I am. I'm talking right into the damn goddamn thing.
All right.
yeah.
So with me for this very special podcast, and I mean special in
where the
most
podcast gets its first period.
Cool. Do you want me to hear? Like it was on Halloween. Do you
Tina
want to hear about it?
Yothers has,
Halloween.
Please do. That would be-
I swear to God, I was 11 years old and it was
Yeah,
Halloween.
we don't care.
Yeah. Yes, Steve's going to be on speed and has to have a special talk from his father.
Yeah.
All right, so with me for this very special episode, the retail special, I have Mike Robinson, who
That's me.
Yeah, I have Steve from
Related to Joel Robinson.
Yeah, I have Steve from the main podcast, Steve Walsh,
The main podcast.
and then
I'm from the main podcast. This is like the outlaying podcast.
this
It's like the
yeah.
add-on podcast that's tacked to the side of the
Adjunct.
main podcast, brought up by the shuttle.
No, we're the auxiliary.
No, it's more like we're the
ladies' artillery.
the weird kind of horror movie sibling that's attached to the regular
Yes,
podcast.
yes, it's
No,
like
this
the,
is the auxiliary podcast.
No,
it's the
it's
auxiliary
We
podcast.
were removed
It's the backup
right
podcast.
after
The one
birth.
that's like AUX on the board.
This is
Okay.
This is the Belial of podcasts.
And then because we're doing this at a store, we have a fourth
bit.
seat that is being filled with whatever moron wants to talk. I
that's
guess.
not very nice.
Yeah, that's not nice to say about Mike. God.
I don't appreciate that.
Exactly. God, what?
he takes offense. He thinks
I
that's
letters himself.
what,
You know, and I'm just like
what
the
was the I
mean-spirited
can't even
Murdock.
I
don't
can't
wanna hear
even
you say those
mispronounce
things about
libel. Labelle. Labelle.
yourself. Lapel like
Yes,
Patty.
like Patty.
Okay.
That's labelle.
That's libelous.
No, it's
Libellous.
Patty libel. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
So in the fourth seat right now is Ka,
Yep.
who is drawing right now.
Drawing.
What's
and-
Ka's surname?
Schmidt.
No.
Schmidt.
No, she's like Prince. She only has one name.
Yeah, exactly. Hello. I'm like Prince in the Revolution, and I can make pancakes and play basketball.
Huh.
What?
Float.
The chick formerly known as Ka?
And what's your
No.
blood type?
That's
That's the important thing to know for the
It's,
character
O, I believe.
thing.
Yeah.
yeah, because then we can find
'Cause-
out if
'cause-
we're compatible.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Do you even know your blood type?
Yes, I do.
what is it?
HIV positive.
I don't have the HIV yet. No,
The
like I didn't live with Damien that
We
long.
can-
in my sophomore
oh,
year in
wow.
high school,
Wow.
I actually got told my parents were like tired when I asked them like what my blood type was. They told me like my sister's blood type instead. So we were doing this thing at school where we were pricking our fingers and figuring out what our blood type was in biology.
You're O positive, Ka.
And
You have common gutter blood.
The best thing about my blood is I can give it to other people.
and so I took it.
Well,
I
you
did
can
the
give it to
test,
me since I'm O
And
positive.
I don't want your yucky ass
I ended
blood.
up with
But you know
a
what?
different blood
My
type
is
than they
cool
told me.
because, like, when you have O,
I'm like, oh, it
apparently
must be
means you're, like,
wrong.
a wacky
Do it again.
and unique person.
All
That's
right.
funny
According to the
shit.
Japanese,
Okay.
because the Japanese are aware that like you can totally tell people's horoscopes and stuff or
by their blood
by their
type.
blood type and their personality type. There's like type A, which is like the really serious type of person. Type B, which is like the withdrawn and moody person. And type O, which is
Is
the wacky person.
is your thing supposed to be on your driver's license or something like your blood type?
Well, yeah,
You know, she sells her blood plasma so often they give her a special
No,
card
I
that
have
she
a,
just kind of flashes to him and it says,
She shows up and they just have like
This
a
is
little
my
thing.
donor identification card because I'm a good person who donates blood.
Oh, I'm not
Dumbass.
a good person.
oh, wow, so if I go and sell my blood plasma,
They'll
give
give
me
you a
one of
card
those?
and they'll tell you what kind of blood you have. And
I
you'll be like,
have-
hurrah!
They'll give you,
Basically,
like-
probably really
They'll give you
rotten
enough to
blood
buy a
that's
happy
very...
meal.
Yeah,
They will?
Yeah.
I heard it was like $20 a week.
That's like a Happy Meal these days. Inflation's a bitch.
Oh, wow.
They only give you a Happy Meal?
I need more
For-
than a
for
Happy Meal.
$20.
Oh,
Even my
I
mud
thought
blood
you
is
meant
worth
for blood,
more.
and I'm
They
like,
don't give you a Happy
I
Meal
don't
for
want a
blood.
Happy Meal for my blood. I need to pay rent.
They just
you
give
know?
you cookies. Yes, they've got a thing where the blood is the secret ingredient in Big Macs now.
That's
I thought
probably
that
not
was
too.
baby fat.
It is.
I thought it was just
probably-
babies.
It's unbaptized baby fat.
Oh,
All
right.
That makes it more delicious.
So we've
Because
spent
it
8
tastes
minutes.
dirty.
Tastes evil.
All right, so we've spent 8 minutes
Unfun.
talking about nothing.
Yeah, well, how is that different than
So
any other
it's better
podcast?
than your regular podcast, right?
Well, Brian's not here to get irritated with us because
because the only time Brian gets irritated is when he's doing a review and we talk during it.
well,
What's he reviewing?
anything.
Normally.
Right now,
bullshit.
nothing.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
reviewing bread.
Yeah.
She's eating bread, yeah.
Oh, like I can make toast.
How much bread?
I
have
bought
you-
some potato bread the other week, which is very good.
The
My review
polygon
of
count
bread
for
is
this
that,
bread was very low.
Oral wheat is really good.
Oral wheat?
It's
Oral
a
wheat.
texture.
It's a type
we were
of
just
bread.
talking about texture
I
wrap.
really
You can
recommend
texture
it.
wrap the
It has
bread.
like a lot of different kinds of like they have the whole grain white and
Oh,
potato
wow.
bread. It's really good.
Welcome to the bread podcast. Bread and many different types of bread.
Look, I eat
Thank
like
you
Here's
for
a
toast.
piece of bread with real butter sticks in it.
Yeah.
So
Here's a
it
bread
takes you
with
like
a
18
shampoo and
hours to
conditioner
edit
built
this
And
thing.
they have a
inside.
double fiber type, which Mike needs. And
I have plenty of fiber, I'll have you know. I get plenty of 5.
So I'm not
eats
talking about your
blankets.
shirt.
Blanket. Nom, 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 my
You were
blanket.
so thinking of Garfield, aren't you?
But no. But
I remember there was this like Garfield where like John gave like Garfield lasagna with like a sweater in it.
I remember this Dilbert where they chose who got laid off by giving them their layoff check and a donut. And whoever took the right donut got the
dun, dun,
layoff.
dun.
And Wally went out to eat like 4 or 5 of them, and he says, well, the 5th one was kind of papery, and I didn't very much enjoy it very much. I thought that was funny that,
I was
if
just
you
showing
take a
Steve my
donut
Dilbert shirt today.
with a check in it, that means you're laid off, and Wally goes and gets like a half dozen of them. You know? Free
all right.
Oh, that
All right,
part's
so
not-
what's the first topic?
Moving on.
Okay, so we've talked about nothing for 10 minutes.
What's the first topic?
Yeah,
Okay,
God,
I'm
move
good-
fucking
I'm
on.
good-
Hey,
Get over
what's
it.
the first topic?
What is the first topic?
I would like to know too. What is
Okay,
that? Murdock?
so the first topic is we're going to talk about our employee experiences in working at a software store. And Mike and I worked at
Well,
the
there's
same
hardware
store.
there, too.
Well, yeah, well,
There shouldn't have been because we really didn't have the resources to sell.
we
effectively.
shouldn't have had video cards at
Yeah.
the EB.
Oh,
Or like RAM.
we
'cause,
sold a fair number of video cards at our BB.
See, we didn't sell a single damn one. We didn't sell any RAM either. They had us at
Oh
RAM.
yeah, we sold RAM too.
We never sold. Because like,
You
what
must have
kind of
been at,
RAM
like
do
a
we?
really sucky store or something.
Yeah, your store
Well,
must have
it
blown.
did kind of suck. But for
Well,
it's like,
it-
what
it-
kind of RAM do I need? I don't know. What kind of motherboard
What kind of
do you have?
computer do you have?
I don't
dumbass?
know. Well, it'll say in your book.
What you
what
should
kind
do
of
is
RAM you
pull
have.
out what you got in there and bring it in.
What you should do is buy this and never come back.
Well,
Yeah.
that was what the manager wanted us to do. Just sell it to them anyway, and then they can return it. Why do I want to go through all that hassle when I know that there's a 98% chance they'll be bringing it back?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I never could. I got lost once they actually started accepting movie like trade-ins.
Oh,
to
yeah.
sell at EB. It's like what? We're actually right next to a Suncoast. We're never gonna sell any of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
It's like,
are
yeah.
because
We're
like
gonna-
they're cheap.
Oh look, they traded in the Abyss. Oh good, that's kind of interesting. Oh look, they traded in Armageddon. No, not so good.
Yeah.
I love it when they
Dude,
get
Suncoast
like.
charges like $80 for a movie. You totally were like raped.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they try to rape people. They're
Yes.
like, we're gonna stick this DVD up there, and you're gonna pay us money for it.
Well,
Yeah,
EB's
Last
always
time
been
someone
really.
stuck something up there, I paid him for it.
Well,
Was it DVD? No, I'm curious. What was it?
Never mind.
Oh, fine.
well, EB has been notorious for the whole price fixing of the pre-owned stuff. We'll get to that. But I mean,
Goody.
EB had no business in selling hardware. I mean, even video cards were the worst because what was it?
Hey,
I
the
think-
Diamond Stealth cards.
No,
We had the ATI all-in-one DVD.
Oh,
Um,
Jesus, yes,
we had that in the Voodoo 3 and the Voodoo 5.
Yeah.
And the Voodoo 5, I had a lady.
You're like
come up
sticking
to-
pins into it. She's all like,
No,
"Get it."
that's actually what she asked.
Yeah,
She's
she
like,
asked
she
if
asked
it
if it was actual voodoo.
Yes, it's
awesome.
It's video voodoo.
I'm serious, and there was the
We import.
And you were all like, you
we
started singing
import
like David
video
Bowie
from
songs.
the Caribbean and we jam it into this card.
oh,
You're like,
there
who
was
do
this,
voodoo? You do voodoo.
Yeah, it was there was the little
Let's
lady on
dance.
an oxygen bottle who asked if the Civil War game had real how you could smell the smoke. Did it have like a little nose piece where you could smell?
No,
it? Because
well, no. What it was
The
was
box
that.
said, you can smell the
Yeah,
smoke.
yeah,
so
so
real.
real.
You
You
can
could smell the smoke.
Jesus
Was
Christ.
the
And then she asked if it came with an add-on to smell the smoke, and I had to restrain myself
She was-
from actually
I'm sure she
saying
was joking.
that all she needed to do was, pour water on the tower, and she could smell as much smoke as she wanted.
pretty much, yeah.
I wouldn't really. I don't think it would.
Let
smoke.
all the
It's
magic
just kinda-
smoke out of your hard drive.
Suck.
Kind of depends on what we break.
Yeah,
the,
it kinda depends on
the
what you
mysterious blue smoke that makes electronics not work anymore.
You know,
But-
I haven't seen it.
So
Maybe
now
I haven't
That's-
destroyed
that's
as
a-
many crappy things as you.
That's a good thing, Kai. You don't
Yeah,
ever
I
want
know.
to see the magic smoke.
I'm aware of that.
Okay.
Yes, the magic smoke should never come out of the wires. The
So
magic blue
now
smoke.
Mike and I worked at the same store.
What if
you
I
worked
like rubbed it really hard and I wanted to summon a genie and stuff?
now Steve. Which EB did you work at?
How do you know?
I worked
What if,
at
like, Robin Williams comes out
the
and, like-
the now defunct EB in Maplewood Mall in Minnesota. Maplewood, Minnesota.
And Mike and I worked at the Cherry Creek location in Denver, Colorado.
It was Walden Software then too.
Yeah.
bears noting that-
Is it related to Walden Books?
Well, we actually had
It was.
competition back then too, because there was a software etc. like one floor below us in the same place.
Did we have something like that with Babbage's?
Yeah, no. Yes, they did, and then they went out of business shortly after I joined.
Well, it didn't help that they had a 3DO that was like 7 years old there that they were still selling for $6.99.
That's because it had Gex on it, right?
It didn't have anything. It was just the core system.
You could play Gex
Well, the
on it.
software
You could
etc.
buy
had a
Gex
Mac
somewhere,
playing
like on
Dark
eBay,
Tower
and
on it.
Ugh.
Funny shit.
Yeah.
That is funny.
It was still going. It was in the same exact place that that software etc. had been there for years, and so it had that electronics boutique. And I still remember when I was a very younger kid watching them play that stupid flight simulator on the Amiga 500.
Oh, hey, that game was awesome.
Yeah.
No.
No, it wasn't. 'cause,
Flight Simulator is never awesome.
Well, that wasn't Flight Simulator. It was like FA-18 Hornet or something.
What about that
Oh,
one that's
yeah.
hidden in Excel?
What?
You know, in Excel 97?
There's like a flight simulator.
There's a
hidden
flight
in
simulator in it?
Excel 97.
What kind of nerd are you, like, Mike? Why don't you know these things?
Because Flight Simulator sucks ape.
No, I didn't say
And
it
I
was
don't
good,
care.
and I don't care about it either, but I know about it because I'm not, like, sucky.
No,
So-
it doesn't mean that you suck if you don't know about
Yes, it does.
Flight.
It's like when I was...
a hidden suck-ass game and
Oh,
a
let
lousy
me tell you
app
about
that I
this-
never use. Okay.
This guy hit
wow.
on me at the grocery store the other day, and he was all, oh, well,
People
can I
don't
take
hit
you
on
out
me
to a
at the
movie?
grocery
Can I
store.
take you out to, like, this or that? Like, can I take you out for a drink? And, like, he seemed really nice, but, like, he asked me, like, what the last movie I saw was, and it was 300 with you guys, which was, you know, quite a while ago, like, you know. And he was all like, oh, how was that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, you know, if you are at all familiar with the historical event it's based on, it's really, really, really funny. And he just gave me
And he
this
just
look.
started walking away, didn't
No,
he?
he asked me.
He's
No,
just like,
he looked really interested, but it was just more like he was confused. Like he was like, it's based on something, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't talk to you anymore. Like I'm sure he was very nice. But
oh
you're
no, failure!
too stupid. Okay, if you don't know about things like that, like I just can't date you. If you're
Was
too
that the
young.
Battle of Monopoly?
Yes, it was
I
the
think
Battle
so,
of
yeah.
Monopoly.
It was the battle at the Sea of Tranquility.
It was like that time.
The
this
Martians
guy,
versus the Moon
He
Men.
told me he wanted to buy a PSP,
And Santa Claus.
and I was like,
oh,
what
and
for?
I forgot the Santa Claus.
Now, Steve, when you worked at the software store, what position were you in? Work position, like
Depending on if I was getting a paycheck at the time or not.
the fetal.
Sometimes.
the fetal position. I
The
gotta do inventory
N64,
again.
the N64 release, fetal position.
Ugh.
Oh yeah.
Good lord.
The N64
Stop.
release
Don't bring
was
up
a
the devil.
human zoo.
It was.
The devil.
It was. It really was.
Yeah. that was-
There was only four
You
of
sell
us
a lot
that
of
worked
copies of
at
Quest
there.
64.
That we had a manager,
Yes, we did.
assistant
Oh my
manager, and
God,
two
why?
associates. But really, we
You know what's a good game?
opened and closed all the time
Tetrasphere.
anyway, so it didn't really matter.
yeah, it was
No,
kind of the same.
Tetrasphere was an awful.
The only
It was
thing that
better than
the only
Quest
thing
64.
different between the managers and the associates is the managers had to like fill in the little thing that said like how much money you had made per day.
But and at our store, even the managers didn't do that.
Well, hell, I did that. That was my job.
Well, even when I was on the lowly end of the ladder, I ended up
The
doing
lowly end of the
lowly-
ladder.
Yes, tell us more about the
lowly.
lowly end.
On the so
is it near
there's
the Shota end?
is this a ladder that on one hand has the Shota end and on the other side has the lowly end?
No,
No, I think there's two ladders, Steve.
Oh no, I
Because
don't-
like as you climb, they get older.
it's like the ladder theory thing where like you have to date somebody who's
So,
on
like-
the same part of the ladder with you, otherwise.
yeah,
it
because
won't
otherwise you get arrested.
work. I think it's a different ladder, but yeah.
Yeah, but now Mike, we had, what was it when I first started, we had like 4 people there. It was like 2 mics and 2.
Yeah, there were 2 mics. The one weirdo mic and me, which I guess doesn't really describe
I was about to
anything.
say,
Yeah.
the difference
There was one pasty mic and a non-pasty mic.
Well, no, he was pretty pasty
I'm sure
too.
he's pasty
Damn
about
it.
their nerds. Hello.
He was just had blonde hair and was like gay, like Damien.
Oh, so there was gay mic and not gay mic.
Exactly. Yeah. I didn't
Ah.
want to put too fine a point on it, but I guess that's really the only way we can distinguish.
Yeah. There's
Don't
homo
even
mic
remember
and
his.
non-homo
Sad when
mic.
like
Well, he
not
was-
being
he was
gay
very
is like your
strange.
only really thing that you can say about yourself. Honey, I'm not gay. That's what distinguishes me from other people.
Wow, cock. That's all I have to say about that. Wow.
So now, what was?
Mike is also well known for, by the way, our viewing audience or our listening audience, as the case may be. He's known for having one of the best oh wows in the universe. His oh wows are just so succinct and perfectly enunciated that it just
Why did he even say it?
I don't
Because it really made, it's
because
like.
he said oh wow.
You're the one
It
who's
made
all
him
like,
a wow.
gee, I guess the only thing that differentiated me from my gay coworker is that I'm not gay.
Well, I don't remember that much about him. He was kind of a cardboard
He
cutout
had hair,
of a
right? I
personality.
mean, can't you say that?
I had hair back then as well. This
Oh,
was
okay. Fancy.
many moons ago.
Oh,
Many moons. This is many moons
back in the
ago.
hair days.
Back in the hair days of the mid '90s.
Yes.
Those were the
Likewise
days.
in
It was
my
like flannel and
situation.
hair. They were both in.
But basically, being an employee at one of these stores is, pretty brain dead of a job. It does not take
Oh,
a
that's
lot
why
of.
you guys had it then.
Hey, we had family fun night.
You had family fun night?
Yeah.
No, we
that?
no, we
Oh,
had.
what's that? That sounds cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
It
did-
was so not. There was a local TV personality on the local indie station. This was before UPN and Fox existed.
Was this like Wayne's World?
No.
Oh.
But so this little indie station had they had like their kids TV thing, right? They had kids cartoons on whatever, and this personality that hosted all these kids cartoons things would show up at our mall on Fridays from 7 to 9, and everyone would bring their kids and they'd like dance up there like they're frickin' proto Teletubbies or something.
Oh wow.
And then it was actually pretty good because we had a lot of foot traffic on
You
those
thought
days.
we'd been through how you can dance if you want to and so on.
Well, yeah.
That would be like if Blinky the Clown were to come to Cherry Creek Mall every Friday night. That would be sweet.
Yeah, and show
Who
his
the hell is
glass
Blinky the
eye to
Clown?
everyone.
You don't know who Blinky the Clown is?
Okay, Blinky the Clown is
Holy
a
crap.
he's a local personality
Yeah, I don't
and a
know
very
Blinky the
scary
Clown
clown.
He was awesome. I loved that show.
No, because he
I didn't
scared
watch
me.
TV because I had books.
You also didn't live in Colorado.
Yeah, but
he did
I
so.
just
He still runs a store off of Broadway.
I'm
yeah, I
awesome.
just remember this
He
one.
did.
I just remember
Oh.
this one episode where he was talking to kids about fireworks safety.
All right,
And,
don't stick them in your head, bud.
Well, no, he's like,
Oh, and also, I
he's
didn't
like,
live here when I was a kid.
don't play with fire.
Pardon
he's
fucking
like
me.
on television.
Fuck
he's
you,
like,
indeed. Thank you.
he's like, don't play with fireworks. And he has a glass eye, and he took out his glass eye on television. He's like, don't play with fireworks, kids. And he takes out his glass eye, or you'll end up like this.
I really wish I had seen that.
That's really
Sounds
funny, actually.
awesome.
You guys should YouTube that shit.
I was in the audience that day, and
That must have been the coolest thing ever. You're
No,
like,
it-
can I lick that?
see, this this is why I hate
That's excellent.
clowns.
Why?
Oh,
Because
I
they're
hate
gonna
clowns
throw their
because of
eyes
it.
at you.
They
You
might.
could get his skull slime
Well, a
on
lot
your
of people
tongue.
hate clowns because of it. Like, when you see that when you're 7, you're just like, I don't ever want to see a clown again,
Why
especially in
did
the
you
sewer.
see that when you were 7? That was an
Because
awful show.
I was
Because
little.
it probably came out when she was 7.
Yeah, dude, like,
So
how
what?
old do you fucking think I am? That's depressing.
You're about, what, 19 or something?
No, I'm
Well,
like,
mental.
What are you, like,
I'm,
12?
I have a foot in the grave, remember?
Oh, you're 25?
What are you, 12 now?
I have a foot in the grave. I'm
So,
not a loli.
13?
25.
No,
Yeah.
I'm
At what
much
point
further
does the
up the
foot
ladder.
go into the grave?
Your foot goes in the
25.
grave about 25.
Why is that? What's the
But
special
it keeps
thing about
descending
25?
into the grave further as you age.
As you
And
does
then-
your
and then
foot
you-
grow
your other-
longer as you
No,
age?
the hole gets deeper, you fool.
I
Because you're standing in it
But at
digging.
some point you're lopsided and wedge yourself
No.
to the outside of the grave and can't fall
so
in.
you get your other foot in there.
Perhaps you should just stay where you are and then you won't fall in the grave
You
at all.
can't do that because, like, it's like quicksand.
Right.
Did you
The
just
grave
turn
is
them down,
sinking.
Murdock?
This
That's
metaphor
awesome.
this metaphor is not really holding up here.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Upon inspection.
Okay, so we've talked kind of sort of about being an employee at a video game store.
Can we talk about the stupid people now?
We're getting to that.
No, dude, I gotta tell you
No,
about
the-
DSP.
No, okay. Now you worked at EB, right?
Yes.
And
The
I'm
electronics
EBX.
boutique.
And I'm assuming that
that was
the
the special EB.
Well, the EBXs were like the tiny EBs.
No, they were like the big EBs.
Nah,
they were
nah,
like the
not
special.
Minnesota.
It's a short EB here.
In Minnesota,
special
the EB,
EB.
in Mall of America, there was 2 EBs.
Oh,
There's
right.
the real EB and there's an EBX.
that were connected by commuter train, probably.
No, but they my
They had a monorail.
But they had
I was about to say, like,
the
this is
EBX
Skyride.
was like this hole in the wall basically, but it was where the district manager had his office.
Oh, that sounded like when I was working at the store at the Cinderella City. They had an EB there, and there was like no traffic at all. But it
Did
was
you have to dress up like a pretty princess?
no. I had to dress up in a suit and tie. Does that
Oh.
count?
Yeah,
No.
that sucked. It's
If
like,
you
oh,
were-
we're
if
getting
you were
paid
dressed
like
up like
$5 an
Cinderella,
hour,
that
and
would've been, like, the
we have to
coolest
wear
thing.
suit and tie.
Why would a bald, pasty guy with a goatee dressed as Cinderella be at all cool in the slightest
How
way?
can't you
at all?
imagine the awesomeness of this? Like, you just described how cool that is. That's just the best thing I've seen all day, like,
This
mentally.
probably explains why she's really into JoJo and the rest of us aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys suck. I think we've been through that, too.
Now, I'm assuming that all
Jojo.
EBs had the same
Jojo.
return policy.
JoJo!
they all had the same return policy.
JoJo.
The return policy for ours was, hey, you want to return that? Okay.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
that
that
was
was-
ours too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we ever,
It was one step below the golden days of Target, where Target would take returns of stuff that wasn't theirs.
That's
we
awesome.
totally did that. You had to have a driver's license, and so this girl I was with just stole all this shit, and of course returned it with my driver's license to Target.
This girl that you knew with your driver's license stole a bunch of things and was able to return them with your ID.
Well, no, I was with her.
Oh, so it was basically you, basically.
No, I was like physically with her
Oh.
when she returned it. So she's like, "Oh, I didn't bring my ID." I'm like, "Bullshit."
Our problem was that we had
But,
people trying
she
to
gave me half the
return
money,
stuff
so I
that
don't care.
was like that hadn't been sold for like 10
Oh,
years.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'd like to return this 8-bit Nintendo.
Yeah,
No.
I'd
I would like to return The
this
Legend of Zelda.
TurboTax 91, and it's like
Yeah.
It's the
95
gold
now.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
a
that
gold
actually
cartridge, all that.
happened.
It did. Our district manager took it back.
Schwa.
Yeah, he
Well-
would take anything back. If you had a pulse and an item, he would take it back.
Yeah, well, yeah, but we'll get into that.
Well, see, you must have had some sort of like marriage issues, and
Were you guys working on there where they had that bizarre 8-bit Nintendo trade-in special?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
it was like a minimum of like $5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You like traded in like 10 cartridges, and they would like actually give you money for like what was that? Like Super Mario. They give it for you for pack-in games and crap. Apparently, they were selling them to like Bolivia or something.
Yeah,
like
or
that.
South Korea or some third world country or something where 8-bit Nintendo was brand
Yeah,
new.
they give you like $5 for a 8-bit Nintendo, and
Yeah, Duck Hunt to get you $5.
yeah,
that's
it's like
kind of
bizarre.
awesome.
Well,
I wish I had
it
Duck
wasn't
Hunt,
even
and it was
once
for
you had to
$5.
do inventory for all that crap.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
geez.
kind
I
of
bet
and,
it
and it
So
was
that was
really
awesome.
it was really high shrinkage on that stuff.
Well, it's because they gave you one SKU to bring them all in on, and you're like, okay, so I've got 20 of these, but 12 of these games sitting here. What the hell's going on here?
Well, it didn't help that they were in a large basket in front of the store.
Or like one SKU to bind them.
So
No,
one
they-
SKU to bind them,
This-
one SKU.
No, they had to
One
bring them
SKU
into us,
in
and
the
we had
dark-
to
yeah.
we had to write them up which ones we got and crap like that. So.
Well,
So we never
Like a
did that. Maybe
prophecy.
that's probably the reason why we had.
well,
such
it
high
wouldn't have really helped anyway. It's just like, well, this one's missing. And I mean, now we know the name of the one that's missing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, in case you find it like behind the couch or something,
No,
then you know you got it back.
no, it's
I liked when you had like all the stuff that you'd emptied out the boxes and re-shrink wrapped them, and you put them underneath the counter, and then like they would fall behind. And
Oh
so,
yeah.
You'd be like, oh,
Somebody want to buy one, and
then
you're
you
like,
couldn't fucking find it. You couldn't sell it to them because you couldn't find the game. Like, sorry, I want to sell it to you, but we can't find the game.
I hate it when
yeah.
I'm the
It's
customer
like
and that
Lunar
happens.
Silver Star. Can't find
I'm like, you son of a bitch. I'm gonna stand
Sorry.
here until you find that
Yeah, find that motherfucker. Like, and give me my Galeon punching puppet.
Yes.
punching puppet.
Give me my night trap.
When did you work?
Night trap.
When did you work at EB? Because like, how can you not remember the Galeon punching puppet? It was like the coolest like random crap that you could get with a video game ever.
I don't know what she's
I
saying.
don't know.
Help me
It's
out
a
with
puppet.
this.
I
And
don't
it
know.
punches,
what
it
what
has
what
little
game did it?
levers.
What game was it?
It came
packet-
with Lunar to Silver Star when they re-released
Oh,
it.
That must have-
yeah,
that
that
must
was-
have been a
that
different.
That was the
humongous-
PlayStation
like
2.
you- if
That was the
you-
Oh,
PlayStation
that was
2 one.
No,
way
not the
after I was
PlayStation
done
2
playing.
one.
Yeah.
It was on the
The Sega CD?
PlayStation, the regular PlayStation.
No,
They
we
Oh
never
remade
yeah,
saw those.
she's talking about the Lunar,
Lunar to Silver Star story.
We
the
never saw
remake.
When they remade it for the PlayStation.
Yeah, the ones when
If
you
you
were working
pre-ordered
designs.
it, you could
We
get
never
this
saw it.
awesome
Yeah.
punching puppet, which I have. By the
We
way,
never saw it.
No,
that's how cool I am.
Yeah,
the only Lunar one we ever saw was for the Sega CD.
yeah,
And
it-
then there was also then they did the same thing for Lunar 2, and you got a necklace, which I've worn places, and people compliment me on it. They was like, "That's a really pretty necklace.
Well,
Where did you get it?" And I'm like, "Oh,
those promotions.
Oh,
don't
I
wanna
got it
say-
out of a
I got
video
it from a video game that I
Here's-
bought when I was
Here's
17."
well, here's the thing you got to understand about EB. EB would send you the promotional items for video games that have been released about 2 weeks after the video games are released.
Oh, I know.
Or
I
they'd
went
send
and
them to you,
harassed
like,
the
6
shit out of them.
months
I was like, "I want my
beforehand.
puppet,
Yeah,
you
it's-
bitches. Give
You
me
either
my
got
puppet,
it-
or I'll kill you."
Yeah, we just never offered the promotional items
Or like,
because we knew that they
yeah,
weren't
but,
going to
like because of the
show
magic
up.
of the
Yeah,
internet.
So
Like we know about them, and
Yeah,
I
this
go
was-
there
this
and
was
I say, "Give me
pre
my,
that.
give me
This
my
was-
Silent Hill."
this
like,
was way before
This
that.
is way before there was like the World Wide Web.
back
This
in
was
the
like
day.
This is like Gopher and FTP.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
was like Mosaic was still a year
well,
off.
Somebody on IRC would have told you about it.
No.
Yeah.
There was
No.
no.
I mean,
IRC.
There was
Well, there was
IRC,
IRC, but
you
nobody on
fool.
IRC was playing video games.
Yes,
we
they
were all
Everybody on IRC.
No,
played
we were all
games. They're
trading
like
porn.
Zork lol.
They were trading.
no. The
pornography.
people that wanted to play Zork were playing MUDs. They weren't on IRC.
You could play MUDs on IRC, sort of.
No, you can't play MUDs on IRC. You have to telnet
You could
to
be
a
like-
MUD.
You could be like /me is using a potion or something.
All right, move on.
All right. So Did you have like a really huge return at your store, like something like really obnoxiously large?
I think somebody tried to return one of those eyeglass things before.
Did you guys sell MVSs?
The Virtual Boy.
No, not the Virtual Boy. We never sold a Virtual
Oh
Boy.
man.
I sold
Never
like
sold
two.
one.
I
sold
so
two.
wanted to
Never
play
sold a
Did you know
Virtual
there's
Boy.
an Atlas game called Jack Brothers for the Virtual Boy that I totally want to play?
I want to play that game
You'll have
too,
like a migraine after you play it for 5 minutes.
Yeah, but it
Probably,
has
yeah.
Jack Brothers in it. You can
Was it
play as
that?
Jack
Was it,
Lantern
no,
or
was it that
Jack Frost.
that glasses that you could plug into a video source and
Yeah,
like,
it was the one that had the optional head-mounted
Oh, Jesus, I
tracking
remember
thing.
those,
They
yeah.
cost like $700.
Those things
I
were
think
like-
somebody bought one and tried to return it.
Remember
I don't
when
remember what our
those
manager ended up doing.
clowns
It's like, you know what, we don't have enough money to actually return
Yeah.
that to you, and we're going to be
The
in the
day
hole like
after
$500
Thanksgiving.
for the day if you
yeah.
return that.
Do you remember what?
Yeah,
what I'm
Mike.
talking
Now,
about?
Mike and I, because we were both working the day, was Black Friday, and it was like a
Yes.
couple of clowns, like a
No,
couple.
it was a family whose home had been burglarized and their 3DO and all their games were
Right
taken.
before
And
Easter, that sucks.
Black Friday.
Black Friday.
Black Friday.
Good Friday.
Thanksgiving.
But and it was like it was hundreds and it was. We were negative. We were the only store in the whole country that was negative all that because
and we
of
were
those
like
people.
negative what $10,000.
No, it was negative like $2,000 because they.
Why were you negative?
Because these people brought back like $5,000 worth of 3DO and games on Black Friday because their insurance company would not pay for it. It was unreal. I'm like, wouldn't you
What?
like get the check from the insurance company before going out and buying all that crap?
You'd think, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but they didn't. And then
Serious.
the day after Thanksgiving, they bring back. I mean, it was like boxes and boxes
Yeah.
and boxes of returns. It was
What's it
unreal.
called?
We used up like a third of a pad of manual receipts to do
That's
their one return.
awesome. And those manual receipts, of course, were a pain in the ass to begin with.
Yeah.
and we should probably explain to our audience what a manual receipt is.
Yeah, all 8 members of our audience, pay attention. We're now about to explain to you the
The deep,
manual
dark
receipts.
secrets of...
They look like long pieces of paper that have your name and address field at the bottom, and then you put them into the thing, and it prints out like 3 items, and then you get to do another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're all in triplicate
Fascinating.
too.
I'm
Yeah,
glad
they're
you
in
guys
triplicate.
shared
There's
that.
the white
I
and
feel
pink and
educated.
yellow
Yeah, there's
one,
the one to give to the
and you
customer,
have
the
to
one you give to
staple
the
it
store,
onto
and the
the
one
right
that
thing,
you give to the home office
and it's like...
Yeah, one goes to home office. The
in Westchester,
exalted,
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, the exalted Westchester.
One for the little
Pennsylvania.
boy who lives down the lane.
Well, yeah, he gets his yellow copy.
He gets his yellow copy.
Yeah, and the manual receipts like mean nothing. It's just, what were they for?
They were
Was
to
it
make
just-
sure that we weren't stealing from the
You
company.
damn thieves.
Actually, we used to use them when our manager was in a really good thing to give people returns without having a receipt.
Well, this is true. Although, you know,
And that was only for people that we liked.
yeah.
Cool.
Like
Or
the people
regular
that we knew.
customers.
Yeah, well, that was the people that we knew that were like, shit, I can't find the receipt, and we're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're in here all the time. You spent $10,000 last week.
Except there's the one guy that we're like, okay, stop loitering because you never buy anything. He was always in during family fun night, so I'm figuring he was checking out the kids or something like that.
Yeah, really.
He was an accountant.
Oh, God.
He was an accountant, and he just kind of like would wander around. He'd be in the store for like 2 hours straight, not buying anything.
We had several of those. We had
And-
one at the Cinderella City who had like,
and he only
couldn't
showed up
see.
on Friday nights.
Yeah, he was a freak. He couldn't see, and he had like inch thick glasses.
Excellent.
And he had to hold the boxes just to read the video game. He had to hold it like an inch away from his face. And we're just like, how in the world does he play these games? He can't see.
He's got like a 48-inch monitor,
It was
How
something,
old
yeah.
did he, like, how close
running
did he hold
at
the children?
1024 by 768.
I don't know if he even really noticed there were children around. He
Oh.
bumped into like
This was a different
stationary
date,
objects.
you know.
Yeah.
So next we should talk about our creepy, disgusting, or annoying customers.
Other
This
than
will
the
be very
pedophile?
fun. Well,
Yeah.
As a female customer, can I
Potential
talk about the creepy, annoying, and disgusting, like, guys working at video game
yeah,
stores?
we'll
Go right ahead. That would be awesome.
We're actually going to get to that here in
think
just a bit.
I
Do
think
you
I
get
know
hit
that.
on all the time at video game stores, Ka?
No, actually, well...
That's kind of strange. I would expect different.
I would
no,
have expected
no,
different.
You
as
don't
well.
expect
It's
it
like,
because...
oh,
they-
it's a girl.
like,
She plays
yeah.
video games. Get her.
You get
No,
her.
no, no.
Tackle
No,
her.
it's a girl. What the hell is that? Like, I'm scared.
But now
Oh,
there's
it's
like girls
that,
working.
oh my
at
god,
the
a girl
stores.
answered. They know our weakness.
Yeah, there's girls working at the stores now.
Yeah,
I
there
was
are.
like, we
Oh.
couldn't get any to apply.
I
Yeah.
so applied, and, like, they didn't hire
Well,
me.
we,
I
we
was
got
so
a few to
sad.
apply. They just didn't know shit about video games.
There was one.
Yeah,
There was
They were like,
well.
what
There was
systems
one
do you
that.
have? I'm like, the Super Nintendo.
Well, you got to
Nintendo
realize,
Game
I don't
Boy.
know about when you guys were doing it. I mean, it must have been somewhat, but when I played it, like only a fourth of the store was video games. Like the rest was like productivity and educational games
We
and
had hardly
hardware
any
and
of
stuff.
those.
Prince
Oh
of
yeah,
Persia.
like a good 60 to 75% of our store was
Oh
non-gaming
gosh,
stuff.
Magic
'Cause
carpet.
we could have sold that stuff at
Magic
Cherry Creek.
cards.
We were trying to
Magic
get them to
carpet,
stock us, but
remember?
we had
Yes,
like
yes.
one set of shelves
Magic
with like
school bus.
productivity.
Yeah, we had
That
a
was
bunch
it.
of productivity software.
It was
The rest
all
was games.
No, we
all
had
games.
like the front part of the half
All
of the
games.
the front half of the thing was
All
games,
games.
and the rest of it was like
was all games.
Quicken.
And the GX they got
GX
stolen.
TV.
They got
Oh,
stolen.
we'll get to that.
It got stolen.
Okay,
out
so
of the
so
further
Mike,
store.
so Mike, favorite customer,
The kid with two
Fred.
modems.
the kid with 2 modems.
The kid with two
Ah,
modems.
yes, the kid with 2 bones.
He had 2 modems
I've
in his
heard of this
computer.
kid.
He would always brag about his computer and what kind of computing muscle it had, and he would always talk about how he had Linux, all this bull crap. And I'm like, well, good luck in running.
Oh,
anything.
Linux, eh?
Yeah, he had Linux, and I have 2 modems hooked up to my computer so I can get more bandwidth. And I'm like, and this was before, like, really any kind of broadband outside of, higher education. I mean, you weren't going to get broadband in your home. You
get an ISDN line for
Did
like
he have two-
$700 a
yeah,
month.
well,
Did
yeah,
you have
it
2
was.
phone lines?
Well, I never really. I was trying not to
He was-
actually talk to him because
Oh,
he was like one of the most aggravating people
One of
God
them.
put on this earth.
No,
But he would follow you around and like keep telling you this crap
About his
It was
modems?
about his 2 modems. So I called him after and our manager
my
was
modems.
yeah,
don't
they
know
just don't know
about
about my
my
2
modems.
modems. But it was hilarious because I called him the kid with 2 modems after the man with 2 brains, and it just kind of caught on because our manager at the time really enjoyed like that kind of comedy. And we went over to his house and watched used cars for a celebration of the store one time.
Was that Richard?
That was Rich. Yeah, he says, is that after the man with 2 brains? I'm like, yep, it sure is, because he's always talking about his 2 modems. I caught him behind the counter like giggling while the kid was like bragging about his bandwidth and his line.
Well, he was thinking
too
if
hard
he
to
bought.
run, like,
Did
oh,
he like
yeah.
overcloak his computer?
Well, no,
Yeah, well,
no. What was
overclock his computer?
no? What was he?
I just don't
he-
know
he-
about
I
my
overcloaked my
bandwidth.
machine.
No, this was before the 56K modems came out,
Like
so he
Jeff
wanted to
Kay?
like
Oh, I just aged
buy
myself.
2 28.8s
Yeah.
and get 56. The only problem is that he didn't have 2 free slots for it.
Well, it would have been a nightmare to run anyway. I mean, I don't know why. Well, you
For the
could get 56K modems, but they were like $400.
Yeah.
They were.
Oh, was this when like hackers came out and everyone was like, "Whoa, 56K modem"?
Yeah, and female hackers
Did
look like
you say
Angelina Jolie
They're
too.
hot, dude.
Yeah. Hackers are all skateboard kids.
That
They're all
is the
attractive
best
people.
Movie. I love it. It's
It was
just
the
such a
worst
nerd
film.
like wet dream. It's so.
It
Beautiful.
was a nerd wet dream, and that
I
it,
know, and I
not
love
a
it. It
bit
doesn't
of it
pretend
takes
that it
place in
isn't.
reality.
Hey, Mike.
It doesn't pretend it's real.
I've got
Yes, sir.
one for you. Remember Skirt Boy?
Was that the kid who wore a kilt all the time?
No,
and,
that was the
like,
guy
smelled
that would
bad?
come into the mall really
Oh
early.
yes, he'd always be wearing a dress.
Cool.
That was too weird for words.
No, he would go into the bathroom, put on a skirt or something, run around the mall 2 or 3 times, and then
we were
leave.
we were right by the public restroom, so we'd see him walk in a shirt and tie or something, and come out in a dress and walk.
Second
the
job,
mall.
all right. God.
It must be a
So
second.
judgmental.
Well, yeah, but he had a beard or something. I mean, it wasn't like he was trying very hard.
So he was like Sailor Bacon or whatever.
Sailor Bacon.
Yeah.
Sailor Bubba.
No, there's Sailor
Sailor Bacon.
What is this?
I
I smell bacon.
Sailor Bacon is
I-
the
I-
mascot
Bacon, it
of
smells like real bacon.
AnimeLyrics.com.
I don't think Bacon is the name of a planet I've heard of. Planet Bacon.
I'm sorry, Bubba being a really popular planet to go to.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they call the dog star or something?
Bacon.
No, we call
Yeah.
it Sirius or something.
But what was the other one? That was
There was the kid who thought he was from the UK.
oh
He
yeah,
always had his American Express card, and he never washed. You could
Oh, I see.
you'd smell him before he entered the store. It was really
How were his
disgusting.
teeth?
His teeth were rotten to the core. They
Okay.
were
yeah,
really
and
rotten.
he spoke in a British accent, which
Yeah.
was clearly fake.
Yeah, he spoke in a really bad British accent. And his mom came into the store to buy him some game because he had pneumonia or something. And it was his mom is an American and his dad was an American. So how is he getting off being British? No, he was just faking it.
Did you have any customers like that, Steve?
We had a lot of psychos. I don't know.
We the only guy I can really remember off the top of my head was the guy who would.
The pedophile guy.
Well, there was that guy who really until now I didn't really actually put 2 and 2 together as to why he would show up on Fridays and Fridays only,
Oh, God.
and only between 7 and 9.
The lowlies.
Yeah, pretty much. And the
Could be
Shodas.
the Shodas.
Could be the lowlies or the Shodas.
If they're small and hairless, does it really matter?
There was a guy who would show up and he actually at some point, this was when CDRs were first getting popular. You could buy one for like $600 or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, I gotta buy this so I can take it home and copy it." And then he would tell me that, and then like 3 days later, he would come back and return it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And so he kept doing this over and over again. And finally, he was very offended when we told him we couldn't sell him anything anymore because he's like, "Why?" He's like, "Because we actually technically haven't ever sold you anything.
Yeah, really.
You've returned everything we've ever sold you."
Now, did you ever have like a? Well, I'm sure you have, but I'm sure. Have you had a question? Have you had a customer? Have you had a customer ask you a dumb question and it's
When you're a 13-year-old
memorable
girl,
to this day?
your mom makes you return Leisure Suit Larry.
Ask me a dumb question memorable to this
Well,
day.
has a customer ever asked you a dumb question that you remember? to this
Like the old woman who asked Murdock if there was voodoo, black
the
magic
thing.
involved with the video card.
Well, there was that.
Then there was the old woman who asked if there was a nose piece for the Civil War game.
Was there one that lived in
No,
a shoe?
it was a virtual reality thing. She wanted virtual.
Yeah. Well, it was. She says, "Is there some kind of nose piece or something like that that I can
Some
smell?"
virtual
the
reality
gunpowder?"
add-on.
Like, no, ma'am. That's a true
You have
story.
to imagine it
No,
with your brain.
These are all true stories. The woman who bought Riven when Riven came out was real popular and couldn't get Disc 2 to work and didn't realize that she needed to remove Disc 1 from her tray before Disc 2 could work. What was the one with that woman with the
You
disc?
mean my coffee coaster?
Yeah.
All I remember is the woman who cut the 5 1/4-inch floppy to match her 3.5-inch drive.
That's excellent.
Yeah, like what?
It's like
why
a
is
Gilbert
this?
strip now.
This is like
Well,
I
all
wish
those jokes come from someplace.
jokes come from someplace.
These aren't jokes. These
Yeah,
are.
I wish I
No,
would.
I mean those jokes
They're like
about
thoughts.
the
Yeah.
Gilbert ones are like,
Where do
things
thoughts
are
come
like
from? They just appear.
They just appear.
Yeah. But you did you have anything like that, or was your clientele a smart bunch?
Oh, they weren't a smart bunch, but
It sounds like he didn't have the outrageous lunacy that the Cherry Creek Mall
no,
attracted.
there wasn't. There
Well,
was.
that's 'cause it's yuppies.
Well, the thing was,
but it
with-
was yuppies mixed with like the white trash who were still being gentrificated out. I don't
The,
know if that's a real word or not, but they were being kicked out slowly.
The
Yeah,
gentrification of Cherry Creek.
Exactly. Yeah, there was still a lot of garbage and human debris living around there.
Dude, there
and-
still is. What are you talking about? It's Cherry Creek. It's all like,
They're
oh,
just-
I'm a soccer mom. Woo.
Well, no, these were like white trash people, like
Those
Pabst,
are white trash people.
Pabst Blue Ribbon
Those
was
are
like
white-
a
oh,
gourmet
Did
drink.
you know that PBR is so popular right now at like yuppie
It
bars?
is. It's foul
What
too.
the fuck?
It's-
You can pay you $4 for. They're like, oh, $4
I would
like
never-
PBRs. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I wouldn't drink that shit
You
for
have to
free.
pay me
and there's-
$4 to
yeah.
drink the goddamn thing.
yeah, give me a $5 and that beer, and I'll consider drinking it.
Oh, yeah.
No,
No,
so
our-
drink
the
it. For
thing was,
$5 I'll
Mall
drink
America was barely not rural when I worked there. It's like totally encompassed by suburbs now, or Maplewood Mall.
When
not
it
Mall
first
America.
opened, we went on a
So,
field trip there.
Not Mall
shit.
America,
To
Maplewood
the Mall of America.
It was a big deal back then.
It was a huge deal. They're like,
Now,
you could
like,
buy things on
only
4
s-
floors or whatever.
Only super shoppers and tourists go there now. Unless
Is
you
it
would go
still
see a
open?
movie.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, it's still open. It's totally still open. It's getting an add-on, actually.
Goody.
They lost their. Actually, it was kind of funny. One of the jobs that I used to work at in Minnesota for an arcade before I worked for EB.
What's an arcade?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The last remaining arcade owned by that company that owned all those Circus Pizzas was in the Mall of America. And the only reason I knew that is because their stickers were still on all of the arcade cabinets.
Oh, nice.
It said AAA Entertainment on them. I'm like, hey, they're still alive. There's probably like 3 employees.
Like, what
That's
was
pretty.
that?
That's pretty stocked for an arcade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's 3 employees in the corporation.
Oh, like jeez.
Like Billy Bob's
the
Pizza
accountant,
or whatever that.
yeah.
Showbiz Pizza.
Yeah.
Oh,
Actually,
wow.
we
Showbiz.
the circus that I worked at actually bought the animatronics from the Showbiz and put them in there.
Really nice. They had this. I just remember the talking machine. You could like
Didn't
type
they have a
in. This
smoothie
was
gun?
like when I was
Yeah,
8
they had
years
a
old.
gorilla.
So it was like
gorilla
way
that
back
played
when
that.
like voice
It was the
synthesizers-
Rockefeller
And then he
explosion.
got bought by Chuck E. Cheese, and everybody was all like, Chuck E. Cheese is such a stupid name. Like, Showbiz was
Yeah.
cool, you know.
Huh. We never had that debate, unfortunately.
Well, what was kind of funny is
Well,
that
I was 10.
when we were young, they had 3 of those things. They had the circus, which is not to be confused with Circus Circus.
I was about to say, is it like Circus?
No, it's not like it at all. So Circus, also not like Piccadilly Circus. And well, they had like some sort of chain called Piccadilly Circus too.
Oh, I see.
And then there was Showbiz and there was Chuck E. Cheese, and they were all in like the same mall complex.
Oh,
So
no.
what we would do is we would arrange as kids to have our birthdays at separate ones in rotation, so we didn't end up going to the same one all the time.
That's smart.
Okay, you got to take the.
And the Circus pizzas actually after 9
You
on
got stuck with
Fridays and
Casa Bonita.
Saturdays. No, well, I didn't live here then, so
Casa
Casa
Bonita.
Bonita.
Goddamn.
But the Circus pizzas
Black Bart's Cave.
at night on Friday and Saturday would convert over to nightclubs, and the employees would turn
nice.
would convert over to bouncers. It's pretty cool.
I bet you they had a lot of pent-up rage that they could use as bouncers at that
Yeah,
point.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was quite the interesting thing. Sunday
Oh,
morning.
I'll show you where the fucking skee ball goes,
Sunday
you
morning-
motherfucker.
Yeah.
Sunday morning, they had to flip coins to figure out who's going to go behind the ski ball machines and clean up the used condoms.
Waffle.
Are you
Ew.
kidding me?
No.
Oh, wow. Behind the skee ball
Behind the
machine.
skee ball
How
machines.
romantic is that?
Yeah.
Hey,
It'd be
baby.
really noisy. I
Yeah,
think that would be very
flip-
distracting.
Flip up your skirt. This skee ball's making me hot.
Well, you know, playing with balls and.
Yeah, playing with the big wood balls has got me going.
And rolling them up a
Yeah,
ramp.
it gets me going.
Yeah, bend your sweetheart over the skee
I
ball table.
have many more stories about
What about the
that
pool table,
circus
like,
than I do about
the
EV.
hot-
Actually,
hot-
Well,
like
let's
green
hear
velvet.
them. I'm now intrigued by the sexual escapades
tell us.
of the.
well, she was the woman who told me about that one was this woman who was in the army. She was, she basically worked Friday and Saturday nights for, a second job. And so she was just been there since, time immemorial when this arcade started. And she told me that story. She also told me about the time when she was walking around and she was walking through just checking things out, and she sees, they have all the tables that are around the dance floor that doesn't exist except on Friday and Saturday nights, right?
Yeah.
And she sees that there's 3 guys sitting there and there's 4 sets of legs under the table.
Nice.
She's like,
That's awesome.
"Can I help you with something?"
I would just left them alone. I mean, you wait till the Hummers.
Have you ever worked in a restaurant? You just don't want to clean up after it. You're just like, I'm going to go over and also you're always really feeling bitchy. So you're like, oh, I see a
Because
chance.
you're not getting the Hummer. Under
No,
the
because
table?
you're working, you idiot. So you're over there fucking with people because
I see why you didn't
You're
get much
at
in
work.
the way of tips.
I did.
You did?
Yeah, I worked at Denny's, dude. So everybody was drunk.
I've been drunk at Denny's many times. I must admit.
Well, that's where you go when you're drunk. You go to Denny's or Perkins or some other.
I get
24-hour
taken. I get
establishment.
taken to Denny's. I just end up at Denny's.
We got one
Is
time
there
when we
even
had
Denny's still around here?
Yes.
Is it, like,
we
it's
had
still
this legendarily bad
I think
there
manager
might be one on
at that
hand.
arcade,
Oh, cool.
and it actually culminated one time with a guy who came back with a bow staff and wanted to beat the crap out of him. It was pretty cool.
That
bow
how
staff?
how did that happen? How do you enrage someone that they want to like?
He was an ass. I mean, he was an epic ass. He was this Russian guy who just didn't give a shit all the time, and
Oh wow.
I mean, we've had bad management.
Soviet Russia.
yeah,
Yeah, in
it
Soviet
was.
Russia.
Yeah, we had bad
For some
management.
reason, he liked me. He like confided in me as to like why the rest of the employees were just so bad.
Soviet asshole likes you.
I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I like. He's like, "Steve, I don't understand. How come nobody works as hard as you do?" I'm like,
Because you're an ass.
"Sergey, I don't like you."
Balls.
He probably asked everyone that question.
He may have. He liked to sit back and read it. Somewhere he got the Russian paper every morning.
Oh, but Pravda?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't read Russian.
Oh.
But he would get it. It was Russian language newspaper, so I don't know, maybe. And he would sit back there with his breadsticks. That place had the best breadsticks I've ever encountered. Never encountered better breadsticks. Breadsticks and butter sauce.
Oh, wow.
And he would sit back there and just eat for like 4 hours reading his paper. Then he'd come out, he's like going,
How come nothing's
"Oh,
done?
Steve, you're here today. I didn't know you were on the schedule today." And then you go back in the back room and like,
He's
Until,
like,
like-
you were like, I weren't, but I just kind of showed up and
Yeah.
penciled my name in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Best
We had
breadsticks and
we
cheese
had
ever.
some
Nice.
interesting management at EB.
Yeah, the one woman who came unglued about what was it? A pack of Star Wars
Okay.
collectible card game cards.
Do you remember?
disappeared.
Do you remember the GX TV, Steve? It was that Samsung had made a specialty television just for video gaming. It was like $499, and it was like
A
13 inch.
monitor
vaguely
with
remember it.
like speakers that were just as big.
I don't
It
know
was
if we ever
unreal.
actually got a model in store.
You
Yeah.
didn't miss much.
Well,
It
we
was
didn't get a
not-
model in store either.
We got the real GX TV, and it got stolen from the front of the store. And this isn't like the front of the store like it was in the front of the store. Someone just grabbed it and walked out. It was in the front window. Someone had to come into the store, walk up onto a step into the front of the display window of the store where everyone in the mall could see them, hoist the TV up onto their back or up over their head or something, move it up over the display, down onto the sales floor, and then get down out of the display window, and then haul it out of the front of the store. I mean, it must
What
have
you're
taken
saying is
them.
security sucked.
Yeah. This happened on this particular manager's watch.
Wow.
So she must have been in back doing something, God knows what, to not have seen this. There was no way that you were in the store and not
And
notice.
I think it was like right around Black Friday when this happened.
No, it was on Wednesday, and she was the only one in the store.
Oh.
That's what peeved me. I'm like, you're coming unglued over these Star Wars cards.
Yeah.
That disappeared over a
Yeah,
busy weekend.
so a $499 television, and she's like, well, what happened? And she's like really calm about it.
yeah.
But then when we do inventory and, we're doing inventory on Star Wars booster packs, and we're missing one, which I think at that time they were discounted to 99 cents.
Yeah, by that
She has a conniption fit.
Yeah, it was one of those things where the GX TV disappeared on her watch, so therefore it was no big deal. The Star Wars cards disappeared on someone else's watch. Holy cow, my employees all suck. They all don't give a damn. They won't clean the toilet. It's like,
Well, that's what happens when you're with guys.
well,
Like
this
I
is
think
true.
that about my roommates all the time. I'm like, my God, they don't clean the toilet.
Well, I don't clean my toilet very often either,
It's
but I'm
just
the only one
disgusting.
who
It's
uses it.
boys. Boys are gross.
This is true. I wouldn't deny this.
Yeah, but, I mean,
That was
Would
random.
you deny this?
Well, that's just kind
Look,
of a
you
random
guys just pee on
segue.
the seat, all right? It's disgusting.
random-
If I
well,
was your boss,
normal,
I'd be
like-
clean that shit up.
Okay, normal, civilized human beings know how to lift things and put them back down again.
Yeah, and that's why it's such a mystery as to why.
Well, I mean, I lift them up and I don't
Invariably.
put it down because I figure that women are competent enough to put them down to their
I
own.
don't understand. Yeah, the whole toilet seat. Like, I'll
Yeah.
fall in. Well,
Well, maybe fucking check before you sit down.
Yeah,
Do you,
yeah,
just sit down at. Do you never look at what you're sitting down on ever?
you try not to because, maybe you're in a hurry or something. Like,
what
haven't you
if
ever
there
had,
was an
like, diarrhea
alligator
something?
there or
Jesus.
something?
well, I've had
Flip, clunk, sit.
No, see,
It takes 2 seconds.
It's not that you
And
don't.
gravity
look
does half the
normally.
work for you.
It's not like.
Yeah, it's
No,
not like
the-
there's a
the falling
crank
in thing-
involved that needs to be brought. It's like a drawbridge that you need to crank down. It's like, oh, look out for the alligators.
No, what happens is that
there's a giant squid
it
down
doesn't
there.
normally happen. A normal person looks most of the time, right? But haven't you ever had diarrhea or whatever and had to rush in the bathroom? And that's when that happens, and you get pissed.
Well, then you just have a bigger hole to aim
Dude,
in.
okay, if a guy
'Cause if
and a
somebody
girl
has to rush
both
into
have the
bathroom-
runs, the guy has to do the exact same thing as women do, and guys don't complain about it.
Yeah, but
This is
true,
guys
yeah.
obviously just don't
This
uh,
must be
Guys
some core
obviously
incompetence with
just
the
do
female
what's
gender.
in- is
guys
required.
are more like they're used to the seat being up. So anytime they need to take a dump, they just put it down.
So what so the basis of your argument here is that women are incompetent.
No, the basis of my argument
I'm
is
going
the
to
habit
ask
you
the
get into,
8
and you don't
ball.
even think about it.
That
The 8 ball says
You're an idiot.
outcast 99%.
Oh, more outcast, eh? Hot
Well,
porn.
that was the. Well, I got outcast 1% at that rather personal question.
Porn.
I don't know.
the only thing that we really got in the store that was actually really annoying was the Nintendo
3DO.
64.
Oh, the
Oh,
system
geez.
launches?
No, the Nintendo 64 demo unit that we got a month and a half before it was
No, we had a
released.
Virtual Boy demo unit.
We had one of those too. But we had a Nintendo 64 that sat there and said pickle for a month and a half.
Pickle?
Yeah, whenever you picked a level in Mario World, he would say pickle.
That must have been the most aggravating thing.
Yeah, it
I
was.
don't think it was pickle. I
It,
think
it
was,
sounds like pickle. I've never heard a better explanation for what he says.
it says let's go.
No, he says pickle. He really does. He goes pickle. It sounds nothing like let's go. It sounds like pickle.
So you select a level and you
Kyle,
start
what
talking about
Japanese
deli
call
items.
Yeah, pickle. Because
It's-
it was
he goes-
obviously a
Well,
Japanese
there's a lot of,
phrase. Pickle.
You see, Japanese people, like many other Asians, and I don't want to stereotype here, but they love pickled things. So it could have been there's shit tons of words for pickle.
Well, I mean, what would sound in English pickle as
Oh,
they
I-
must have been actually saying? Because I can't imagine.
There's
It
not
must have
a
been a
lot of
Japanese
actual-
phrase, wasn't
No.
it? No,
Probably not.
It was just pickle.
It
It's
just
probably
sounds like
pickle.
pickle.
It's
Well,
probably pickle.
pickle is an inherently funny word.
I
I'm
agree.
trying here.
Then
I'm
we'd
trying.
have to have like some kid who's coming in and he's like going, I can't get it to work. I can't find the stars. It's like, well, maybe you can wait another like month and you can buy one old and bitch about it at home instead of here.
Yeah,
we didn't get a demo unit of that. I'm very, very glad.
We totally like should have charged people like a quarter for.
Well, we didn't get
Oh,
demo
yeah,
units for
yeah.
anything except the Virtual Boy.
The Virtual Boy
and the Game Boy printer.
Oh, yeah, the Game Boy printer that broke in
remember
like
that.
a week.
How
In
long
a
did
week
you
it
guys-
was
Like, didn't it
gone.
have a little camera?
Yeah, the what was that stupid dumb
was-
fuck Game Boy camera?
It was like the
It was
the
like
predecessor of the camera phone.
Yeah, and it was like dot matrix,
Dude, it would be
print,
so cool
printer.
if you could get the Game
I
Boy
mean-
printer and hook it up to your cell phone.
No.
That
No.
would be the coolest
No,
thing
that-
in the world.
That would be really awful.
That would be
Kyle.
so
be
awesome.
That would be awful.
No,
That,
no,
I would
that would be
buy that if there
that-
was like a product that you could do
that would be as much fun as a broken elbow, Kyle.
That was
Yeah.
so
Okay,
cool.
so
I'm just
what were you
dying.
going to
That's
ask us,
awesome.
Steve?
How long did you guys actually have a Jaguar in stock?
We sold the initial batch of them fairly quickly.
Yeah, but we didn't
and
get
never
that many to
saw-
Oh,
begin
like
with.
Primal Fight.
Yeah, we never saw one again for like.
Did you guys get Attack of the
18 years.
Mutant Penguins?
Primal
No.
Fight, dude.
Oh yeah, that was like the last game that came out for
Attack for the
Attack of the
Mutant
It
Mutant
had more
Penguins.
than one
No.
game.
How could you?
Holy
well,
crap.
yeah, it had like three
Well-
or four.
well,
right,
It
Steve-
didn't have the dinosaur fighting game, right?
Steve, we
Yeah,
we
Primal
had
I
Rage.
think it did have Primal Rage.
It did. That
Yeah.
was like the thing that sold it to people.
Um,
God
Well,
knows
no,
why.
the thing that sold it was the
Aliens versus Predator.
Oh, was it?
And
Yeah,
That was a dumb fuck game too.
yeah, but that was the one that people bought it for. Was for Alien.
But
versus Predator.
Steve, there was a couple games that we had in our store that sat on our shelves for over 5, 6, 7,
Well,
maybe
yeah,
10
it's
years.
called all your Sega CD games.
No,
Okay,
I
Gone
totally
fishing.
own
Gone Fishing.
Gone fishing.
Oh, Gone Fishing.
Who buys those?
We sold it on Black Friday one year.
I
and
suckered some person
yeah,
into buying it.
They returned it, and Larry and I made sure that it never saw
Never
the
made
light
it
of
out.
day again. Yes,
Yeah.
It's
my,
like
my methods, which involve a razor
Well,
knife.
this should be
and
other
and-
than we should make a like an asterisk here that means other than Rise of the Robots,
Oh well, yeah. Rise of the Robots is like the
which
unspoken.
anybody who is listening to this podcast needs no explanation for.
it's
because
it's in the FAQ.
it's in the fact.
Um,
The only game that we have actually gone ahead and prevented people from buying ever.
I've done that several times. If it's been a bad game, I'm like,
yeah, but it depends on the it,
Well,
it
but
depends on the customer though.
Well, if they ask.
Well,
I
there's
would
no
just
customer
volunteer
that unless
this
like
is a
maybe
shitty
the pedo
game.
guy
What?
that I would recommend Rise of the Robots to.
I would
Yeah,
never
but we
recommend Rise of the
recommended a lot of other games to them. It's like, oh yeah, sure, Phantasmagoria is great.
It's awesome if you like watching a movie where you click a couple times.
Night Trap.
Wasn't that have like boobs in it?
That
though?
did have boobs.
That was
Uh,
Phantasmagoria
had,
2.
Who was the chick that was in Night Trap?
The chick who ended up doing
Dana Plato.
softcore
Dana
porn
Plato.
and then
It was
ended
Dana
up
Plato.
doing cocaine or something.
No,
now
it was
she's
the
dead.
it was the sister of what's his name on Different Strokes. The same
yeah,
chick.
yeah.
Really?
She was.
Yep,
She's
same
the,
girl.
the
She
I
did like
didn't
crack
know
porn
that.
and stuff like that after that.
Yeah,
That
she
is
did
so
porn.
cool.
She was
Night
all
Trap
like-
was practically porn.
Well, but she did real porn,
Oh, cool.
and she
And
like
then didn't she like she's
like,
dead
she
now?
OD'd
isn't she?
on
Yeah, she's
cocaine
dead
or
now.
something like that.
She's gone.
But
It was like big
That is a
cocaine
sad
fiend.
story.
Yeah, tell me it again sometime.
It's a sad porn too. It's like not even really interesting.
yeah,
I don't remember her being
What?
that
Is
attractive.
porn normally like it didn't have a good plot? Like the articles. Didn't
Well, it's
read
not
what the
interesting.
fuck?
There was no interesting thing. There was no unique aspect to the porn. It was just kind of like run-of-the-mill porn, and it had
does
Dana
most
Plato.
porn have like unique aspects to it?
The stuff
Well,
that I'm
people are
interested
naked in it.
seeing- I mean,
I
for,
assume she was naked.
she
naked, what
was
did you
indeed.
see? There you go.
It's the thing. You know,
Murdock's not
Well-
very picky about
well,
porn.
porn is just porn
okay.
unless there's something that makes it stand out above the field. It's got some sort of
What if it has a
unique
funny
thing
name
or something.
Like, don't fuck my grandma.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how funny the name is. I mean,
By the
standard
way-
puns on things is just
Or
a
like,
By the
uh,
way, Ka is just recently off her Prozac. That
Yeah.
What? It's true, but that's not the point.
It's true. I
It's
can't
true.
deny it.
so we've talked about some of our customer experiences, as painful as they were. Oh.
Who did we miss?
Our district manager was basically Frank, except he didn't have like the tirades that he would go off on, like it was
No,
the devil's
Kevin
armpit
wasn't
on
like
the-
that. Kevin
The
was
devil's armpit.
Yeah, it was the
Kev-
devil's birthday. and-
Devil's arm.
He's talking about Frank from Penny
Yes.
Arcade.
The
Frank.
Mekong Delta.
Yeah. It was the devil's birthday in the Mekong Delta, et cetera, et cetera. There it was.
I think Kevin was just very, I don't know.
Kevin was a good guy. I mean, my problem with Kevin is that he would just take any anything back. I mean, the TurboTax 91 and it's 1995. I mean, come on. We should have just told that guy to pound it up his wow hole, but instead
Where is
we
that?
took it down.
His wow hole. That's excellent.
I'm gonna start saying that all the time now.
I want to apologize to everyone
when
on
I'm
the
at
earth for unleashing that.
That's so awesome. Like when I'm at the grocery store and like the automatic teller thing is all like, please put the item in the
Well,
bag.
we had
I'm gonna be all
that
like,
thing
pound it up
where,
your
like-
wow hole, bitch.
Why we had
I
a
love talking back to the automatic thing.
I-
Say
I-
my King Supers, it's just so cathartic. I'm like, oh yeah, you put the item in the bag. I'll put the item
Oh.
in your bag.
Oh, Mike, before I forget, we came up with a
Yes,
couple
sir.
terms for some of our more regular customers.
The kid with 2 modems, the skirt boy. Who
Uh,
else? Who else?
Well, we had, we also had insider terms like flanker and.
Oh, Flanker. I almost forgot about Flanker. And Barb gave that shithead a job over the holidays.
We'll talk about There's No Room here in just a bit.
I wanted to punch her for that. I mean, as a Barb.
That was
why
a
did you
pity.
give
That was a pity.
Why did you give that clown a job? You know he's
A
totally
pity hire?
inept. Yeah, he was a pity hire.
Why don't I ever get those? What the fuck?
Really, this dude should not have even been sucking air, much less being in our store trying to wait on people. All he ever recommended was Wing Commander, regardless of what people would ask for. I mean, they could say, "I'd really like a cool role player." Oh, Wing Commander. Well, I'd like
game.
Unreal. Yeah, puzzle game. Have you got a Wing Commander? And we call Larry came up with.
Can I get Dance Dance Revolution?
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
you could dance in-
well, DDR was a little bit after.
yeah, well, quite a while after
Oh,
this.
whatever. It was out.
But yeah, he couldn't
Japan,
even.
ha ha.
Yeah, EB specializing in import games.
Actually, they were for a little bit.
Yeah, well, we did have a lot.
I do
of,
remember that they had the small flirtation with importing Japanese titles.
Yes.
And that lasted like a good 12 hours.
Ours
and then-
lasted like a good 6 weeks. Unfortunately, we had this
We had like
little.
2 games that were like Japanese, and then we're like, wow, that didn't go anywhere, did it?
Yeah.
What
Because-
games were they?
They were Saturn games.
What did they say?
They were trying to
thought
import
they
Saturn
were
games. That's how
PlayStation.
I picked up Radiant Silvergun with my employee discount.
Radiant Silver.
Oh yeah, I remember that. And then there was like the. How come I need a cartridge with this game? Oh Jesus! Pounded up your wow hole.
Were they buying a Sega CD?
Bitch Monkey?
No, it was the Saturn, but you could get these.
They had the cartridge slot in the back.
Yeah, and you would get like
Oh, to
memory
play and import games?
expanders. Yeah, you.
Oh, because I remember with the Sega CD, there was that like memory cartridge you could buy,
Well-
so that it would have you'd be able to save more than 2 games at a time.
Yeah, I
with the
had
Genesis,
one.
you could
In
make the
case you
Leaning
owned-
Tower of Pisa out of the accessories that were
Oh,
available
I know,
for
but
this.
I had
Well, this was
I
the
had,
Saturn,
in
not
case you
the
had
Genesis.
Willy Beamish and Monkey Island and like.
Why would you play
Shining
those
Force.
games?
I have them. actually.
Willie Beamish was like the worst game
And
Well,
ever.
how
Like,
many
save
things
your
could you
Sewer Shark-
add on to the
Your Sewer
Genesis
Shark best
total?
score, right?
Um,
Then
you
You
did
had
that
this.
one.
You had
was-
the-
it
you
could
had the
become like
Genesis and then the
Megatron.
It was like constructed. It was like
oh my
this.
god, my friend had
it was
it.
like
The Leaning Tower
Devastator.
Genesis.
So
Yeah.
you could like
Photograph
Yeah,
it.
the
you have like the
You have the
Genesis and the Sega CD and then the
Then the
32X
rocket
with the
launcher
top.
attachment and the.
And then if you
They
wanted,
didn't
you
have
could have
any
the
lighting.
you could have the Sega Master
32X
System
on it.
adapter.
Right.
You could have the Game Genie.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have the and if you wanted to be really masochistic, you got the Sonic and Knuckles game that had the slot at the top, so you could add other Sonic games on top of it.
Oh my God, like the-
Oh,
so awesome,
yeah.
like the cool
Oh.
stacks you could make out of Genesis things.
Oh my God!
I love
It wasn't cool.
Yeah, but
No,
You don't
no.
have Sega anymore. You don't.
Yes, I do. I
But
still have a Dreamcast.
one of the
I
terms
still
I
have
kiss it
my
every night.
That Sega doesn't exist.
I'm like,
anymore.
when-
my Dreamcast.
one of the terms that we came up with while Mike and
wow.
I were there was do you remember barking
Isn't that great?
flop?
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, the barking
afraid of
flop. That was like the game that like was hyped, and this ended up selling like 8 copies, and then
Oh,
Yeah, we called it a barking
the
flop.
barking
I don't know
flop.
who came up with that or why they came up with
Great
it.
term. I'm gonna start using
The
that.
barking flop.
Is that like what the hell
The
was
fact
that?
you can
name of that
remember
John
this
Romeo
is like
game?
really.
Oh, Daikatana.
Yeah, see that?
Well,
Was that like an example?
I don't
Yes, Daikatana.
Oh, you know what was
a
the
No,
great-
greatest thing?
Battle Cruiser
Barking flop.
3000.
Oh, yes. And Daggerfall.
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 I have that somewhere.
Yeah, well, all you
In
need
my
with
desk.
that now is Daggerfall plus the 130 patches that you need to make it playable.
Yeah, really.
Oh well,
the-
I just like walked around and like joined guilds and things, and then I fell.
Hey,
off
what's
the
what's with
roofs.
what's with the blank screen? Gotta wait for the
No,
patch.
Yeah.
I fell off the roof several times, and then that was basically my Daggerfall experience.
Did you
No,
guys
I
ever
forfeit, like,
sell a
$10.
copy, like a full retail copy of Quake?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Did everybody just buy the demo and hack it?
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, I mean, and Doom was just so popular that we had the cheat codes just right on our counter because every Yahoo would just ask for it all the time.
Yeah, really.
So.
Oh yeah, we always get yelled at because we wouldn't sell the strategy guides with the games. We're like,
Oh yeah.
they want a
I would
strategy guide,
never-
they'll ask us for one.
Yeah, really. And
Or
That's why I made a bad salesperson. I assumed that the people
they
that came
always-
in looking for something, and
Well,
that's
they were
all
always
they
buying
wanted.
It was
yeah.
it was all the
Things
it was all
people
the
don't know what
add-on
they
stuff
wanna
that
buy. They're
EB
like, I'm
started
just in
pushing
here.
after
Tell
a
me
while.
something.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, well, we're not making as much money on the games, but we make more money off strategy guides and stuff. So we'll just start pushing this crap.
Well, I like how when you would get like a game that came out, you would get 5 strategy guides from different publishers every
The Prima
time.
One,
Yeah.
The Brady Games one.
It's
the,
like, wow, and they're like, and people would ask us like,
The
well, which
unofficial
one's
official-
better?
the
Yeah,
Brady
because
game
I've
one's
read
badass.
all of them.
Yeah.
I sit here and read. Actually, I could
did-
totally tell you with the Final Fantasy VII ones. You got a big poster it was fan art, humongous fan art poster with the Final Fantasy VII, the Prima guide, which was the unofficial, and then the official guide
usually
from
said
Brady
the,
Games sucked, but it told you how to raise chocobos.
Well,
Chocobos.
the Prima ones actually I remember seem to
They help
be
you
pretty
raise
consistently
weeaboos.
okay.
Chocobos. Yes.
But the
weeaboos.
the Brady ones weren't so hot, and everybody
named
else was
mine
not so
Zephyr.
hot.
Yeah, but did you guys have the what was it, the ESAs at your store?
My gold
Oh,
Yes,
Alternate
the
service
yeah,
agreements?
yeah. I think I sold one of those in like the
Well,
2.5
actually,
years I was there.
Richard, who was one of our supervisors, was one that's like, "Oh, you have a broken PlayStation? Just bring it in," and then he'd sell them an ESA and just give them a new one because we never made money off the hardware.
Right.
So just sell them the ESA like after the fact.
I like the fact that like with the N64 madness, like we sold
That would be
like
so great.
120,
Oh, yeah.
N64s and made no money in profit that day. It was
Actually,
pretty awesome.
my Sega CD broke after a year. I don't know what happened to it.
We had to have like 3 extra deposit bags that
And
day
they
for
had
the amount of money
stopped-
that was.
Yeah, we had to make multiple deposit runs on that
Yeah.
They
day.
had stopped selling Sega CDs by then, so when we took it back to Best Buy, they gave me like $200 and I bought a Walkman or something. But like, it was really strange just to get all the money back for like kind of expensive system. actually.
Especially from Best Buy.
Yeah, holy crap.
Yeah.
I've also gotten 3 free scanners out of them because I kept on buying those things where they're like, we'll replace it if it breaks in 2 years, and scanners just break like crazy.
Yeah.
It's
Well, you
awesome.
can't throw them out the window.
No, it was all the porn.
All the pornography. Oh.
The gay porn.
Okay.
Porn
So we've talked
Gay
about
porn.
being an employee as much as
Gay
we
porn.
have. Now you had a customer experience about what was this thing you were going to talk to us about being a female inside one of these stores?
It
Is
wasn't
it
like
just
any particular thing. It was always like, either they're all like, oh, well, are you here buying for your boyfriend? Or your brother? Your
So they-
dad?
are
Like,
you
they could
kidding
not
me?
believe it was for you. And then if it was...
Then it was like, hey, baby.
No, they were scared. They were all
They were
scared.
scared.
They were terrified of us. Like,
I
we'd
had
be in the
this
store
problem
and they would
running
not...
into ex-girlfriends
You would
at my
ask
EB.
them
Oh, no.
questions.
They
They'd
You'd
like
be
show
like,
up and they'd
yucky.
be like, Steve! I'm like, going, ah!
no? My problem
See,
is
that's
that
what
I've
it
worked
is
in
to
so
you,
many
right, the
game
psychotic
stores.
girlfriend.
It's just everyone knows me.
No, it's because Maplewood
It's
wasn't
like
a very big
everyone
town
loves
at the time,
Murdock,
so-
but they really don't.
Wood.
Yeah.
Pretty
Sounds like some
much,
sort
yeah.
of like sitcom from... Yeah,
Could be.
No, but they're like, oh, like, or if you bought like a PlayStation controller or something, I mean, it'd just be some really simple, obvious piece of hardware or whatever. They'd be all like, this is the end that goes in the PlayStation. I'm like, really? Oh my god, it was just so offensive
okay.
beyond words.
Kyle, let me ask you a question. Is this sounds like pretty unreal?
It was hilarious. No, it's
Does
not.
this shit still go on?
Not as bad. Not at all, no.
How long ago are we talking about?
When I was like 18 or 19. So this would have been like the late 90s.
Hmm.
You could not believe that you were in there to buy a game for yourself, and if you were, oh, well, we have this Barbie. No, seriously, I'm 17 or 18 years old, and they're trying to sell me things in like pink Barbie boxes because clearly I'm a girl, and that's what I want.
Indeed.
That's not for 10-year-olds or anything. That's for all females. It has a vagina. Clearly wants to play a Barbie game. Or Britney's dance beat or some shit. Actually, they didn't have that back
The
then.
My Little Pony.
Or the My
The
Little
My
Pony
Little
game.
Pony game.
Or, you want a puzzle game. Oh,
You would love Myst.
Yes.
you would love
God,
Myst
I
so
tried
much.
to get people to not buy Myst. I would direct
Yeah,
people
good
away
luck.
from Myst. I'd be like going, well, Myst is
I
okay,
have
but
a
it's a
strategy
little
guide for
dated.
Myst. I actually read it.
You
as
know,
a
there's a
novel.
couple other, adventure games that involve puzzles and might be a little bit more updated. This Myst has probably been out for about 5 years
Or
now.
they would sell you King's Quest
They
6
don't
because
care,
that was
though.
the one
They
with the
heard
girl.
about it.
King's
I'm
Quest
like-
6 was the one that was kind of like Disney-fied.
Yeah, no, it was. I'm pretty sure that was the one with the, like Rosetta's Quest or something.
No, that was 4.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah,
well,
Perils
whichever
of
one had the
Rosetta
girl,
was
they
4.
would try to sell you the girl one because oh, well, you want to, oh,
There
or
was
they
a
would try to
girl
sell
in
you
6.
Tomb Raider when the PlayStation came out, because clearly you want to play as a girl. Who wouldn't? I mean, I'm a girl, and obviously I want to look at some other girl's ass the entire time I run around doing things.
No, that's more like
because-
me. I just want to see the girl's ass while I'm
Well,
playing.
no,
the game.
that's
why I
why
play
Lara
female
Croft
characters
exists,
in,
Mike.
In
World of
WoW?
Warcraft,
They
yeah.
didn't grasp like that. Maybe I wanted
That's
Final
icky.
Fantasy VIII because I,
I
thought
just-
Squall had a hot ass.
I just don't want to like. I don't want
I
to.
mean, that's not the only reason, but he did have a hot
I don't want to
ass.
be sitting there looking at
Indeed.
dwarf ass.
He had a really
hoping
hot
across,
ass, yeah,
you know, Ironforge.
I
for
made
like,
an animated.
70 levels.
I made an animated GIF out of his ass
Indeed.
actually, and I used it as a webpage graphic for a while.
What?
It was Squall's butt.
Well, that was
From Final
PlayStation 1
Fantasy VIII.
graphics, so
So
that was what,
awesome.
like 8 polygons?
His ass was hot, dude.
Well, okay, maybe
I've
12
never wanted to
polygons.
cut
And
my
also-
own throat before.
Like Bushido Blade, like the one guy in it, he had this like really tight outfit that was just like so hot. And we were all like, I want to play as like what's his face, like you know, and then we'd be like, make sure you get the schoolboy outfit.
Well, I'm going to try and get a podcast with all females, but you seem to be the only female I know that plays video games.
That's because you suck, dude. My friend who was over last night, the cute one.
She was pretty cute.
Yeah, she was really good at Guitar
Who is
Hero,
this?
too. She
Who
was
is this?
owning.
Who is this?
British, this limey
Oh, she's
chick.
this cute British girl that I know.
I like cute limey chicks.
Yeah, she doesn't like guys.
Yes, she does.
Well, she doesn't.
She's
It's not like she prefers girls over guys. She just doesn't like guys.
How does this work?
She has this Bishonen boyfriend type
Thing.
She has a Bishonen boyfriend type
Tama
thing?
home.
I
Tama
No,
home.
she has. She showed me a picture of him. He was really pretty.
Really?
Really pretty. I'm
so
like,
she already
"Damn,
has a
that's
boyfriend
man."
that's like a
He's not really
girl.
her boyfriend. He's this guy who's taking care of her ferrets.
wow.
Is that like a code for something?
Really?
Yeah, really.
just-
It's
What,
like,
what does
yeah,
that
he's-
mean? Is
It's a
that like?
euphemism.
Is that like a
he's taking
girl
care of her
word for
pussy.
something else?
in the UK, it's ferrets. Aren't
Yeah. Yes.
They're combing the ferrets.
they? New slang you haven't heard before.
Yeah, it's gonna come over with the next
I'm gonna
next
start
wave
saying that
of
as
British
well.
pop.
I need to start writing down all the things I'm going to start saying. So what was wham
The
up your at?
Wow hole.
The wow hole. Wow.
All right, what's your
hole.
next topic there, Murdock?
Well,
Anything else left?
Well,
Cause wow hole.
Read
Next
up your
on.
wow hole.
I was going to talk about like the pre-owns and stuff, but we all know that EB rips everyone off.
They sold me Bushido Blade 2 and I had a big scratch on it and I wanted to kill them.
oh
They
yeah.
wouldn't take it back because I looked
They
at it and
wouldn't
they're like,
take it
"Oh, it'll
back?
play." And I'm like, "This doesn't look like it's gonna
Well,
play."
no,
Are you sure?
it's
And
not
they're
even
like, "Oh, yeah,"
it's
and
not
then
even
they
a
wouldn't take it
quality
back.
control
See,
thing.
I've
It's
Ass
never-
just
monkeys.
I've
It's
never
a
had
thing where
problem with
they
it.
trade you.
I was like,
You know,
"You guys are ass
you trade
fuckers."
in for $5 and we'll sell it for $39.99.
well,
Oh, and now there was that too.
Game new $39.99. We'll take it used for $10
When
and
I
then
was-
sell it
Sell
for
it for
34.
When I was like maybe 14 or something, because I was really stupid, and I'm going to tell you this embarrassing story about how dumb I
Get
was.
to the part where you pee.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, I sold Phantasy Star 4 to one of those.
You played
know,
Phantasy Star 4?
Yeah.
Why?
It's a good game.
Okay.
It's all right.
Just
I mean,
finish
it
the
has-
story,
but
please.
anyway, or no, maybe
Please
it was Phantasy
finish
Star
the
2.
story.
It doesn't matter. It was one of the Phantasy Star games. It cost like $60.
Yeah, that was.
And it didn't come.
That
This
was
one
4.
I bought used, but for some, or I don't remember why it didn't come
Well,
with a
the
manual.
first two
so I couldn't
Fantasy
figure out how to
Stars
play it.
weren't cheap.
because,
Was it
I don't
virtual?
know,
It
I'd
wasn't
never played
virtual
an RPG
racing that was
before.
$100 on the Genesis.
So I sold it for $5
It was
to
it was
one of
expensive
those
to
like
get the other first Fantasy Stars too.
fun trade thingies or something. $5
Okay.
for a Genesis game.
Yeah.
In right when it was
Shame on
when
you.
the Genesis was coming out, and all the games cost $60 or $70. I must have been on crack.
No, the Super Nintendo was the same way.
I know, but the thing is, I didn't actually sell my Super Nintendo games because that seems stupid. I'm like, I paid $70 for Final Fantasy III.
It's because
at
Howard
Target.
Lincoln told you to trade in your Sega.
Howard
game.
Lincoln.
Like he was the.
He told me
was
to.
What was he was the president of Nintendo of America? Is what it was.
Yeah.
At the time.
He was the cartoon guy who was in Nintendo
That was Howard
Power
Phillips.
when Nintendo Power started. Or Howard, Howard Phillips.
Yeah.
Well,
And
Howard
he-
Phillips
he-
was
he
just
came
Howard
down
Phillips'
like-
doppelganger.
He
or
came
something.
down like some kind of Neo Santa Claus to bestow video games
Yeah,
upon all the children.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty sick.
Why did I always miss out on these things? Apparently,
Well,
I
you
had Star
didn't.
Fox.
You didn't
Well,
miss
you had
out
to
on
get-
anything.
well,
it had the
Yeah, do a
what
barrel
was that
roll.
chip that was in it?
Yeah. I
No,
mean,
what was that special chip
was
that
the-
was in?
it was
the
the,
Super graphics chip.
Was that the Mode 9 thing?
the Mode
magic-
7.
Mode 7.
The
stuff?
scaling and rotating device on the Super Nintendo.
Dun
Yeah.
dun dun.
Yeah. It was,
It-
No,
it-
but it had some sort of. They had some sort of branded chip thing for that too.
No,
for
it
Star
was
what?
Wars.
specifically in
Yeah,
Star
the
Fox.
Super FX.
Cannot- yeah,
The Super
yeah,
FX
yeah,
chip.
chip.
Well. Remember the Genesis had blast processing.
Rumble back. Blast
Yes,
processing.
processing.
the rumble back.
Is that what you used for like flashback?
No, blast processing was.
I don't remember
was
anyone
marketing
playing
just-
Flashback.
I played flashback too.
Flashback
shut up.
got played a lot on PC.
Actually, it was kind of fun. down in a falling off a cliff and immediately dying way.
Well, the blast processing
I don't care
was
for games like
was
that.
all used for Sonic.
It was really pretty.
That was the marketing bit for Sonic.
Well, yeah. In other words, it doesn't
processing.
mean anything.
No, it doesn't
Fine.
mean anything at all. It just means that stuff moves fast on the screen, which, you know.
What you fucking do,
Yeah. Well.
That was kind
Yeah.
of
Well.
awesome. Like playing Sonic the Hedgehog for the first time and you just see shit zipping around. Wasn't it kind of exciting?
Yeah,
Like,
but
holy crap, video games are
no,
so cool.
no, that's just good programming.
Yeah.
La, 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 la. Yeah.
Well, that was when Sonic actually had good programming.
Well, that's when Sonic
we-
had games where you played Sonic.
Yeah, I totally played Sonic. I like the one where you played Tails too.
Yeah, you can't have clipping in a 2D game.
Yeah.
Well, you can. It's just very difficult.
Well, you can have
Like in
tearing,
the,
though.
underground
Well.
water zone or whatever. But
yeah, but did you work Mortal Monday when Mortal Kombat came out on the Genesis and the
No.
I have a lame story about that also.
No.
When I was in
I did
8th
not.
grade, I went on a field trip, or not a field trip, but a sort of class trip with my class to Washington, D.C. And I spent my
This has
souvenir
nothing to
money
do with games,
on
does
Mortal
it?
Kombat for the Super Nintendo.
Get to the part where you pee. This is really
It
I
had
get to
the-
the
it
part
had
when
the
you
sweat.
pee that she spent all her money on.
Yeah, so
No,
she couldn't
seriously,
get back.
I spent all my money, my souvenir money on Mortal
she had to
Kombat while I was
call, and I was too
No, it was just so
embarrassed to tell him I
lame.
needed to use the
Like,
bathroom.
Rather than buying a
I went.
rather than buying like a T-shirt or a snow globe or something, I came back from Washington
It's
D.C.
like, get
with
to your
Mortal
part with your
Kombat.
pee zone. What are you doing over there?
Nothing.
She's playing with her wallet chain on the
All right, so anyway, what
All
about
right.
Mortal
I
Monday?
got my 90s on
No,
today. Did you notice?
Yes.
So awesome.
No, we had like this
I have racing
this
stripes on my
box that
jeans.
we had to give out to every customer for
They make me
Mortal
faster.
Monday
I
when
can
Mortal
tell.
Kombat came out on both systems.
I just want to hear more about Cause Cute Friend.
She was really cute. Wasn't
Was?
she? Wasn't she?
You were never going to see
What
her
about
again?
Mortal Monday?
No, I was just saying, did you work any day like that where they
Just
hyped
the-
it up
Well,
so much?
I mean, there was always like the ridiculous release dates.
You know,
for
here's
things.
here's Weapon Lord Wednesday, and the game sucks.
Weapon
about
No, you know what my
Wednesday.
favorite
Wednesday.
thing was the N64 came out with like 70 release titles, and we saw 5 of them, but we had to hang on to the reserve list for those other games for a year.
We had the same
yeah.
thing for
Robotech 64.
No, what we had was Final.
yeah.
No, for us it was
Superman 64.
Oh man, Superman 64.
Oh,
We had
oh,
like a
oh.
year and a half that reserve list.
Oh, remember the guy? Were you there
Everybody
when the
wanted
guy was
Superman
crying
64.
for Superman?
I
don't
was in the
know.
bathroom or something. I was gone to get a pop, and I just saw him like leaving in tears. I'm like, "What did you say to that guy?" I was kind of pissed. I'm like, the customers are leaving crying. We're not. He's like, I just told him that Superman 64 wasn't out. I'm like, are you kidding?
Why is he crying?
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like jubilant.
Well, no. What
Are
it-
those tears of happiness?
No, what
Yeah.
no, what it was that he was asking for Superman for the Nintendo 64, and I had told him that the game had not come out yet, which was true. It hadn't come out yet. And he's like, and he gets all indignant, and he's like, "No, you probably have it in the back. You have it like in a secret storage
hiding it.
somewhere.
You're-
You're hiding it. You won't sell it to me." It's like, "No, I'm sorry, sir, but I can't.
Bogarting
I can't
Superman.
sell you anything that we don't have in stock."
Yeah.
You know,
You
we
were
don't
saving it for
have
yourself.
a
We're not
we don't have a secret, underground layer of
we
games.
barely had a back room.
Yeah.
You know, I think I could enjoy retail now that I'm in construction. I just tell people the way it is. Look, I don't have it. You want me to go back and shit you one? And watch their face.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell? You know, I mean, because I have to deal with that crap.
We
all day.
had a
It's like-
kid
I mean,
who would
she-
call us up
right.
after every movie came out to reserve the game based on the movie.
So this kid had no idea what video games were about.
No, he would call. He called up a year and a half before the Godzilla movie, the American Godzilla movie came out, to reserve the Godzilla movie game. We're like, they haven't even announced that game yet, and they're like, he's like, yeah, I want to get on the reserve list, because they'll probably make one. I'm like, all right, whatever.
And then you just hang up and forget about it.
Well, sometimes yes.
I would
That's a
oftentimes
big one. I
after
mean,
a while.
That's actually not
Well,
like
the
a
thing
bad
was,
thing. Okay,
like, our
back when
manager
we comes
wanted to,
out.
like, know, like, every reserve game we had and how many there were for them.
I see.
And that
We
just
would-
padded the numbers. if
We
had
would
it.
always pad the numbers because that was how the morons in home office would distribute our stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
look,
Except for Final Fantasy VII.
well, yeah, that was
Well,
That
you
was
got-
a big cluster.
where do you
Well,
got,
that's
like,
the way the
2
day,
copies.
the week it came
Yeah.
out.
No, we got
We
got
had
our
a couple
copies.
of those where, like, they were big releases, and our shipments came in 3-day stages. Where, like, we got 10 one day, and then the next day we got another 10, and the next day we got
Oh,
another
yeah,
10.
yeah. It's
You're like,
what are you doing?
well, what? It's not like you're getting more on a daily basis at the main warehouse.
Well, we would only
just
get,
like
you would only get
send us 30 at once.
well. No,
Maybe they
and
thought you
we
wouldn't be able to
our
lift that big box.
Yeah.
no our
right.
shipments were like that. We
Oh,
would
they're
get like
boxing. Oh,
no,
Jesus.
no. It's like we had
Holy
70
cow.
pre-sold. We would get like 5 one day, and then
Oh, yeah.
and then we would only get like 1 for like a day and a half. You know, we get like one day and then 1 another day,
I
and
know,
then
it's
like
just like
on a day where you're just there by yourself and no one's there to help you. On like a Wednesday, you would get like 100.
Well, the
It's comic book day.
the main the main warehouse people that boxed up the stuff to send to the stores. That I don't know if they had like quadriplegics that were boxing those things.
they were autistic.
But they were just, I mean, the patterns of boxing and like making the little tags. You had to you got tags that were for every single thing that they put in there, and they didn't pack them in the same order that you put the tags on the thing, and they weren't in the reverse order either.
Oh yeah, they were just a jumble.
They were
in the
just a
damn box.
jumble of whatever. So you picked one up, and you would get, you got like 3 boxes that had 175 items in them. So you had to open up all 3 boxes in this little teeny story that you had. And then you had to take and look at you spread out all the tags you got, and you're like, all right, what do I got here?
Oh my God, Steve.
Super Star Wars.
It was like a hard knock life.
Yeah, it was. And
Well,
they wondered why they had
instead
such
of-
high
well,
turnover. They would say they'd have seminars.
Instead of
How
the
come we have such
unpacking
high
taking-
turnover?
Sarcasm.
Instead of the unpacking taking
Don't
45
be mean,
minutes,
Tom.
It took like
it took
3
like
hours.
4 hours to do it.
And it didn't help that
You
you
know what?
had.
Starving children in Africa.
Don't have video games, so they don't need to worry about that sort of thing.
Well, this will get to the
They
this will
don't
get to the
get
flanker story now.
Oh,
There's no room. Do you want to do this, or do you want me to
you
do
do
it?
it? You do
Okay.
it. Because
So-
I was trying to help them.
Okay, so what happened was that around Christmas one year, what happened was that around
Ink in my nose.
around right before Black Friday, like a month before Black Friday, we would start hiring more people for the Christmas rush. And what happened was that this guy named Tom, who would always come into the store and would ask us, "Are you hiring? Are you hiring? Are you hiring?" Finally, it got to the point where
He worked at the pizza joint down the hall.
at Sbarro's.
Yeah, he was
Oh, I love Sbarro.
good pizza, retard employee.
Delicious.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
delicious.
what had happened was he
Sbarro's is pseudo pizza.
so
Did you know you can buy a whole Sbarro pizza? If you go to Sbarro, and it's like
You can
12
find
bucks.
a Sbarro.
yeah.
Dude, there's Sbarro at like every goddamn
Cherry
mall
Creek
around here.
Mall has one.
Cherry Creek also.
But no,
Yes,
if you
they're-
go
they're
to
really-
Sbarro, like the slices of pizza are like $3. But if you just go there and say, "Can I buy a pizza?" it's like $12, and you get a humongous pizza, and it's really good. You should do it
awesome.
sometime.
But,
So about video games.
So with this guy, finally Barb, our supervisor at the time, decided, okay, you know what? Let's just hire this clown. So we hire this guy,
Yeah.
and what happens
Larry
is,
wanted to kill us, son of a bitch.
yeah,
He gave him the name Flanker.
yeah. Well, what happened was that, okay, I would start unpacking the shipment, start unpacking all the stuff that, came with it, and then I'm like, okay, Tom, what I need you to do is just take this stock and put it on the shelf.
And you'd stack it up in little stacks. Put this over here.
Yeah.
And put these stacks over
And
there.
it never occurred to him the fine art of bookshelving,
Yeah,
turning things on its side to make more room.
So we'd have stuff faced because we'd be selling a lot of stuff, and we wanted to keep the shelves looking as full as possible, so you'd face things. Well, he'd go up to the shelves and just kind of stand there for about a full minute and a half with his armload of merchandise, then come back, "There's no room." And he would
No.
say it just like that. I'm like, "Dude, here," and I would just take him and I'd show him, "Here, it's okay to do like this," and take this that's faced and
Turn them sideways.
Yeah, turn it sideways. And
I
then
always
you-
turn the
It has
stuff that
words on the
was never
side.
selling. I'd turn it out.
Oh, that-
like they'd be pissed off that I wasn't putting the new hottest things. I'm like going, well,
That
if we
is
face it
awesome.
out, then it'll sell more.
Yeah. Well, imagine
awesome.
him
Like the
going back and
Civil
forth to
War
the
games
counter.
that, turn out that the Civil War games that would sit on the shelf for 9 months.
Oh, I know.
Until
geez.
the creepy guy with the Confederate hat would come by and
Yeah,
buy it.
the Ken Burns fan,
Yeah.
the
I kid you not. There was, you could
Awesome
tell this guy
idea.
had just come out of his basement from watching the Ken Burns Civil War series about the 40th time. It's like, oh yeah, now I know exactly how I could have won Bull, whatever.
Bull Run, and he'd refer to it as
I had the simulator.
the game that chronicled the War of Northern Aggression.
Lol.
Well, what had happened was that he would go try and put stuff out on the shelf, come back like 30 minutes later, go, "There's no room." Didn't realize that he could, actually physically change and move items to make more room. So I said,
Should have
okay,
taught him to
well,
play Tetris.
well, here's the thing. Okay, I showed him how to do it. It's like, here's how you do this. This is what you need to do. He comes back 30 minutes later, goes, there's no room. After an hour and a half of this, I'm like, okay, by this time, I'm just going to do it myself.
He couldn't wait on customers. He couldn't even put product on the shelf. He certainly couldn't be trusted to receive things in.
But he was perfectly
Why was he called
okay in
flanker?
telling dirty jokes to
Well,
customers.
he's called
Yeah,
flanker because he would flank like around and wait for a job.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
he was not a lead person. He flanked.
I
He-
see.
Yeah.
He was kind of a.
The
the red
He
shirt of the
sucked.
store.
Yeah, no, because red shirts actually did something. This
I
guy
see.
kind
I
of.
mean,
shot.
even if it was getting shot.
Imagine a red shirt that like tripped over his own foot and fell down and even failed to absorb the phaser blast for Kirk. That was how useful this guy is.
utter failure.
Yeah.
He couldn't even get shot.
He would just be lying there like, God damn it, not again.
That would probably just flailing around. Like, where's my phaser?
I need my medicine.
That's awesome.
So do we have any more stories?
I got yelled at once because I would open like Tuesday and Wednesday mornings during the summer, and the only people there were the zombie mall walkers.
Oh yeah.
And so what I would do is I'd come in, I would open, I'd get everything set up, open up everything, turn everything on. Then I'd sit there with my book and I would read while because we could just see the whole store from the counter. I'd do like this. And one time my assistant manager came in early because he had to go get a haircut or something, which was the funniest thing ever because the guy had less hair than I do.
Oh shit.
And
But
his
you're
name
bald.
was Jim Bond.
Jim Bond.
Yes, his name was
Bond.
Jim Bond.
Jim Bond.
He's actually the brother of Larry Bond.
Oh really?
Yeah, the guy who writes all like the pseudo Tom Clancy novels.
Yeah.
He's his brother.
I wonder if that was inspiring for him at a young age.
Apparently not, because he's assistant manager in EB.
No, I meant for his brother.
Oh, yeah. Perhaps. I think actually Larry Bond was older. But he yelled at me because it was absolutely unacceptable that I was reading a book up front. I'm like, there's not going to be anybody here for another 2 hours
Yeah,
except for
we
the
did that all the
elderly
time.
mall walkers.
Oh, do you remember? You weren't there for the big G8 summit or G6 summit or whatever it was that they had the big hootenanny at the Cherry Creek Mall. They had the G.
No, I was there.
The G8 summit was in town, and there was a big brouhaha with the journalists, and we all stayed late, and not a single fucking person came in the store. It was all a bunch of journalists freeloading off the food and the drinks till they were all gone. The mall was packed with people, but no one came into any of the stores. We stood there for like 2 hours. I'm like, this is a fucking waste of time.
Well,
Well, we're
also
ready to get out of there.
waste of time. Super Bowl.
Oh, Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, as in the Denver Broncos when they were in the Super Bowl.
Oh, the Super Bowl.
said Super Bowl.
Bowl.
You just said Super Bowl like
You
8
said
times.
I was like Super Bowl.
I
Wait a minute,
thought
that
Monkey
was
Ball.
that was that robot game for the NES with the
No,
baseball,
that's
the
Super
robot
Bowl,
baseball.
I was like,
yeah.
oh,
No,
Marble Madness,
no,
man.
no,
No. There was a game for the
No, I-
NES that was you
I'm
had a
just saying
robot
Marble Madness
baseball
was
team.
There's two games. It's Gyromite is one of them.
That was not what I'm talking about. They're robots that are like on the screen. Your baseball players are robots.
Yeah, it was like Bob, only not.
No,
Yeah.
well, yeah, and they just you could
I liked
upgrade
Rob the
your whatever.
robot. That was so
remember
awesome.
remember when the Denver Broncos were
Oh,
in the
yeah.
play and
Could hear
the mall
crickets
was
and-
empty. I mean,
Eh?
I think we made
Eh?
like zero
Eh?
that day.
Eh?
And then Mike and I were like, well, why should we do anything?
Eh?
And we didn't clean the toilet either, and that got us yelled at. We got yelled at for
Haven't
not
I
cleaning
been
the
Yeah,
over
from the
the
only
grocery
female
store?
employee in there.
Yeah, imagine why. Jesus.
Well,
Yeah,
Because guys are all like, pee on the seat just gives it character.
well, you shouldn't be in the bathroom when you've got customers to wait on anyway.
That's the point.
We're out of toilet paper. Start using the shrink wrap.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, the
you know,
shrink
I mean,
wrap's
come on.
awesome.
I mean, that is so stupid. I mean,
There was actually kind of funny in our back room when I was cleaning up stuff one time. Actually, it was always fun when you cleaned up stuff and looked at the very back of the thing because you'd find like games from like 10 years
Oh
ago.
yeah, they fell back behind
they
there,
fell
and
back
no one's
in, you're
actually
like,
asked for them.
But I was cleaning up and I found a
It's like, Congressman Horace, what are you doing back here?
I found one of those restaurant-sized salt shaker packs, like full of salt.
Oh, nice.
In the back. I was like, why is there like 14 shakers of salt in back and only 2 of them used?
Margaritaville was no.
No, it was apparently the guy who was manager before them, the current manager was there, who was a funny, interesting guy who
They
Like
all are at
margaritas,
the EB.
tequila.
They all are funny, interesting people, but not interesting in a good way. They're interesting in like the weird pedophile
Is it like
way.
funny, strange?
Well, no,
Yeah.
this
and
guy
not
was
funny, haha.
Yeah,
this guy was
exactly.
actually kind of a nice guy, except he had a degree in CS from like before the .com boom. He had a degree in CS,
Really?
and he was working at this EB, and the guy really didn't need to be in retail because he couldn't talk to anybody at all. It would hurt me to hear him talk to the customers.
Oh, no.
Not because he was saying the wrong thing or anything. It took him 4 hours to get out what he was trying to say. He
Oh,
was
'cause
like
he
the
was-
master of
Oh no.
I'm like,
Oh yeah, I've dealt
Jesus.
with like, people
It's
like
just
that.
embarrassing to like
that,
listen to.
and he
like-
was he kind of looked like a chubby Austin Powers.
Oh.
And he had a problem,
Yeah,
an
baby.
unfortunate problem where he would develop these like little fatty tumors all over his arms and things. So he was
Oh,
kind of like
God.
bumpy in strange places.
So
So
he
it's
was-
like he was kind of an unsettling guy. He was nice, but he's very unsettling to be around.
It,
You know,
it was like it was like working near a chainsaw sculpture.
it was really strange.
Fuck you.
There was that, and then there was the Jim Bond thing.
Jim Bond.
Did we have like, other than Tom Wood, did we have like someone like really creepy like that? Well, other than the first Mike.
Well, yeah, he was.
You have a program?
The other,
You're gonna
the other
fist
Mike was definitely kind
Let's
of
take
a
it outside,
weirdo.
Steve.
He was kind of a.
Them's fighting
I'm
words.
gonna kick your ass.
Oh, now come on, kids! Not during the
I'll kick your ass
podcast.
too.
Well,
You can't come.
Yeah,
Want
I
to
can.
fight?
I'm gonna
Them's
break
fighting
your
words.
ass
Them's fighting
with
words.
this bottle of water.
I'm from Krypton. There's no way.
You see, this bottle of water is like 2 inches around. You're gonna be very sad.
No, you will be because there's no Krypton
You see, I have places in my body this will fit.
in your wow hole.
Is that why they call it that?
No, because then guys couldn't have waffles.
They could.
Not really. They wouldn't really be guys. Then they'd be like guy girls.
No, like, well,
It would
I'm
be a
obviously
tarp.
not thinking the same wow
It'd
hole
be
as
a
you.
tarp. Anyway,
A tarp.
All right, help me. All right, is there anything else that we need to add to the show about nothing?
What could make this show
Um,
better, Murdock?
Well,
Well,
unless you have some sort of funny retail story you want to share with us from like, you going into a
No, it's
game
more like,
store at
it's just
some
depressing, dude. Like, they like,
what? That retail sucks.
No, that every
See, I
time you
think
walk
I
into a
could
store
have
as a girl,
fun.
like you
I
don't get
could
hit
have-
on or anything because the guys do not know what to do. They're
Emily
just
is
like,
here.
That's
Emily,
a girl. I don't
Emily,
know what to do.
you ever go in? Come here. Come
Emily, when you go in and
here.
buy-
here's
When you
Emily
go in
from
and
a
buy-
from a previous
when
podcast.
you
here.
go in and buy things at like a geek store, do you get hit on all the time by the salespeople, or do they like run away in fear?
I've got a story.
Oh,
All
Steve
right.
was here
Oh, okay.
Nice.
What was this?
when I went to go buy my computer before I started school. Went to Computer Renaissance. This is not games related, but it is geekery related.
Well, this is
That's fine.
it's-
Knock yourself out.
Walked in there and I said I needed a computer for school, blah, 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 blah. Dumb fuck comes up to me, leads me over to a display, and he goes, "This is a computer.
Wow.
This is a keyboard.
I'm not
Oh my
kidding. Like,
God.
no.
This is a monitor. This is how you see things on the computer.
Emily.
The keyboard is how you put things in. I'm not joking. Steve was there. He saw this. And it's like,
Is she kidding? Is
You-
this-
blocked it out. I don't
Did-
know.
Emily,
I
was
need
telling
a
them earlier
P200
that, like,
14-inch monitor, with so many megs of RAM and so many.
No, I'm serious. When
Blank,
you would
blank.
walk in and be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, can I get Metal Gear Solid 2, like acid or what, or the substance, right? Like,
Yeah.
you obviously know what the fuck you're asking for, but your girl, and like they're telling
You want Karaoke
Well,
Revolution.
not just that, but I was
No,
telling
Brad,
them
she
that they
wants
were
my
telling
pretty
me how to plug in like if I bought like a controller to play
Oh,
like,
dude, no
Samurai
shit.
Wars with. Oh, this is the side that goes in the PlayStation. I'm like, really?
Really? I thought I was supposed to stick it up my ass.
Oh, is that why it wasn't working?
Well, that only works for Daikatana.
Seriously, but no. The
I was
point
gonna
is
say
that
Doom
Murdock
forever.
just asked me.
Duke Nukem forever.
Murdock just
Yeah,
asked
no
me,
shit.
"You're kidding, right?" He was like, "They don't really do that." I'm like, "No, they did.
No.
I totally have a billion stories just like that.
Anytime
Like,
you go into any
Who and
geek,
I like got this horrible.
Still
like,
to this day?
yeah, anytime you go
'Cause
into
there's
any
so many
geek,
women
doesn't
working
happen
there.
as much
matter.
anymore. Oh,
I
Priya
mean,
went in to buy
every
Metal Gear Solid
GameStop
Acid
I've
while
been
dressed as
into.
a doctor.
Every
Right?
every GameStop, seriously, every
So
GameStop
she's
I've
got all her
been into
medical
has
tags
female
on from the
employees.
hospital,
well, they still don't.
and they're all like,
fuck if they,
they
know
didn't even know what
anything.
to
I
make
don't
of
know.
it. They're like female who looks like mid-20s doctor
So do you
wearing
want to be
all
hit
this
on?
medical stuff
Do you want to be?
Why is she buying a video game?
Blood, yeah.
No, they couldn't figure out what she was doing in the store.
With a fetal pig under her arm?
That would have been awesome if she
They
was
could
drenched
not
in blood.
figure out what she was doing there. They're like, why is there a doctor girl
That she
person?
keeps
Like,
talking to.
why?
yeah.
What the fuck is this?
Hey, Piggy, what game should we buy today?
It's like an Metal Gear Solid Acid, bitch. No, it's a portable ops.
Do you want to be hit on in the video game store, Kyle?
No, because those guys are yucky.
Oh.
But like, if it was
Is
a
that
cute
the
guy,
technical
then sure.
term?
Yes.
Yucky. Because that just surprised me, because like I said, the game stops.
Dude, when I did that, he had to like edit out all this shit. He was
I do
really
this
pissed.
constantly.
He was so pissed 'cause I kept poking the
That,
thing.
to the audience,
Bloop, 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 bloop.
Steve is like doing
Rubbing his
Eskimo
nose.
kisses to the microphone. It's really quite disturbing.
Let's try some butterfly kisses.
Was I needed at the
Please
front
stop.
of the store or something?
Is that?
You were pointing.
Oh no, we had a bunch of people.
We're all butterfly
very,
kissing.
this isn't very sexy.
I didn't say to have eye socket sex with it.
Bob Barker, essentially.
Jamming the
What the
Oh,
fuck,
great.
Mike?
Bob
That's
Barker.
not
Eye
a
sex.
kiss. That's like sex.
yeah, eye fucking.
No, you can always just put it in your mouth.
Well, no, you were doing. You were.
I'm not, you're not.
No, Em, you were doing
Well, I
that, and
can't
Brian
fit
was
it
getting
in.
very annoyed at
Try harder.
that.
Yes, Brian like fucking.
You have to get to the mic.
Ouch.
Sure, you guys.
Don't take things so serious.
I know, my tooth hit the mic. It really kind of hurt.
Thanks for noticing me.
What?
So, because that's what
here
surprises
comes
me.
Kennedy.
That surprises me
cool.
seriously because
Kennedy
I mean, there is
probably
so many
has
female
you know.
employees there now. I would.
We
think
had
that they would-
our
my God,
Burnsville
Poe and I
branch
went
was
into, like,
managed
a-
by a woman, and actually it was kind of funny because she was the one. For some reason, Burnsville's store was always the one that had the weirdos come to first. That were trying to like return an NES or something like that with like 40 games, and it's like 1995.
Yeah.
And so they would try to return that, and they would leave. They'd be all leave in a huff. And these people, they were motivated. They were all about,
Yeah.
trying to get this to work. And so she would start like the telephone chain, where like she would call one, and then we would call two, and then the other ones would call two, just so that whenever they show up, we were like, nope, we're not taking that. Just turn right around and leave because we've already heard it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that was the Aurora Mall store. And
No,
they
dude,
would-
Steve, about like also
Geeks
female
are sexist.
geeks
like,
are sexist.
people working at stores.
Geeks are sexist.
And
I
think
would
it's
prefer
like
the
what
company
you were saying
females to
before.
males. Is that
Apparently, just
sexist?
girls get hired because they're female or something at
What?
a game store.
Totally.
And the thing is, I'm like, you don't know fucking shit about games.
Well, you realize
Well, I
these
went in there
days
to buy,
at
like Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne when it came out, and like if you bought
Yeah,
the first edition, you were supposed to get a soundtrack with it. And like
Yeah.
we thought that this was going to be, like a lot of times because like when you bought Silent Hill, you had to get they gave
Got
you
the
a little
separate
extra
box?
disc with
Yeah.
the we didn't realize it was packaged in because Atlas realized that all video game employees are stupid. No offense, guys. And
I'm pretty stupid.
anyway, so we asked her like,
I'm a construction worker
we
now.
asked her, where is the where's the soundtrack disc? Like, do you guys give it to us separately or
Just
something?
go in my eye.
And she was just like, I don't know what you're talking about. And like, okay, kind of obscure RPG, kind of understand. But then we asked about some other like really popular game, and like she just knew nothing about
frickin',
shit.
I went down to Game Force and asked them about.
It was so angry. Like I was so mad. I'm like, why are you working here and not me? Because you're a stupid bitch.
local.
But
I
you're
went down
Asian.
to Game.
but
I went down to
She
Game
was
Force and
Asian,
asked
too.
them about Loco Roco, and they're like, "What?
what's that?
What's that?" I'm
well,
like, "This is
but-
freaking Game Force. I could get that from
The
like Target or
GameStop
Circuit
near,
City or something."
Villa Italia had this hot girl working there, and she knew like all about the games.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's unusual.
And would
I
have
was-
nothing
I
to
was-
do
Well,
with
it's
I was like-
unusual in
the thing is,
retail
this-
for people to know what they're
This
talking
girl
about
was
anyway.
just hired for
Realize
being
it.
Asian, I think.
You
And
know what the
it
thing
just
about
pissed me off so
hiring
much.
girls, I think it's all about is these guys are never going to see or touch or be around any other female of the species that's not genetically related to them or otherwise legally related to them. So I think they hire the girls so they can get around females and oh god,
That
They
might
can
be
smell
true,
them. They
yeah.
can smell them.
No.
Sometimes
You
they
see,
don't smell
here's
very good if they haven't bathed.
yeah.
I mean, the
Try
female.
not to hire those ones.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
maybe EB managers got paid relatively well for being retail managers, so maybe they were planning on purchasing some females.
Oh, hot. Loli Robos.
Lowly robos.
I
They
wouldn't
were
buy a
even
lonely
more
robo.
primitive when we were working on them.
I would buy like a Jenna Jameson robo, and I would get financing for that thing.
I don't
Well,
think
not
it's
Jenna
very
Jameson,
attractive either.
not Jenna Jameson now. Jenna Jameson before all
Yeah,
the
but
surgery.
but it's an EB, so it'd be kept behind the counter.
yeah, yeah.
No, actually, we didn't keep it behind the counter.
Orange.
We didn't. like prawn games.
Oh yeah, you didn't.
Yeah, we had them in
That's
the back
funny.
corner up on the top shelf.
You're like, you used to be
One of our supervisors would put them out where the children could see them, like right on the end cap. It was
She's
awesome.
not skinny in the like even in the fashionable way. She's skinny in these skeletal
awesome.
like that's disgusting.
Who is this?
Jenna Jameson.
Well, not Jenny
you seen-
Jameson now.
Have you
Jenny
seen her
Jameson
lately
then.
though? She looks really scary.
Yeah, she too much surgery. She looks like a slut.
Frightening.
This
that's a
that is
different
kind of
podcast.
fun.
Well, I would need to save this podcast.
Well,
and
we already
go to
talked
another
about Night Trap, so
one. It's a night trap.
Yeah, with what's her name?
a night tarp.
Night tarp.
I
With
wouldn't.
Dana Plato.
Yeah, with Dana Plato. That's
I wouldn't have mine an Asia Carrera robot.
Hey,
I would definitely pay for that.
Asia Carrera. No,
loading up on the computer.
no, it wasn't Asia Carrera. It was
get it.
Tia Carrera was in a game.
That
The-
was awful
There
game.
was a Wayne's World game.
Video game.
Right.
Wayne's
What was
World
she
game.
in?
It's
She was
it's
in,
it's a 3DO game called the Daedalus Encounter.
Yeah.
She was a voice-
That was
She's
it.
one of the voices in
Well,
Saints
that's when they
Row.
were still doing like
What-
the
what-
live action
what-
games.
what was
so
that,
cool.
Well, it was the
they
FMV
were-
era.
FMV era.
Yeah, Yasmin
Remember, like,
Bleak
Rise of
in
the Dragon?
Project Snow. Was it Project Snow Job or something like that?
Project
Project
Blowjob.
Blowjob. What?
Yeah, that was what it was. It was in the mid '90s. As soon as CD-ROMs got cheap enough to mass produce and put in games, it was FMV. It was FMV.
Sewer
madness.
Shark forever.
It was.
Sewer Shark is never the right answer, I might add.
Niner.
I don't
Three.
see anything.
Three.
That's just dirt.
Niner.
I think that. Well,
I will
it's just
just-
because
All right,
it's
from
very
now on, your
difficult.
code name is Rat Breath.
Yeah. I want to be codename Homewrecker.
Just because
Did you ever beat Sewer Shark?
Yeah.
No.
did?
Yeah, it was.
What's wrong with you,
It was
Murdock?
very annoying.
Why did you actually bother?
Why did you bother, Kyle? Why are you asking?
I didn't bother.
Oh.
I've never beat Sewer Shark. What kind of loser do you think I am?
Actually, Phantasmagoria was kind of a funny one because it was like
So
supposed
when
to be
they
like a
renamed,
horror game.
Switch-
Rape in that.
There was
Oh, no,
rape.
that was-
No,
Rapes?
it wasn't in
Snatcher.
Phantasmagoria
Snatcher.
1. It was in
Cool.
Phantasmagoria 2. Phantasmagoria 2 had a rape scene in it, and we had to warn everybody who was watching, who
I
bought
totally
it.
Oh,
downloaded
wow.
Snatcher the other day.
Awesome.
The head of Syria.
Roberta
Has Metal
Williams.
Gear in it.
Roberta Williams.
Kojima was always fucked up.
What's that?
Like
Oh, for
we were
Snatcher?
playing Snatcher, like it's got like Metal Gear references in it, like or well, I'm not. It's more like Metal Gear has Snatcher references in it, but like you realize that like Metal Gear didn't just spring from nowhere. He was always really fucked up.
Well, most
Huh.
game programmers are pretty messed up.
Yeah, I think
Snatcher's
so.
actually really cool.
Especially
It's funny as
before
hell.
it was like a popular
You can
thing
hit
to
on
try
women
and
over
be.
the phone
Yeah.
and try to get them
Yes,
to like
for
have
sure.
sex.
I
with
mean,
you
I
and
mean, think about it. I will jump in the air, an invisible
stuff.
block
I don't
will show up,
usually
and a mushroom
simulate,
will come
hitting
out.
on women and trying to get them to
Tell-
have sex with
tell
me
me that
really
Or a
isn't-
flower that enables you to throw fireballs.
Women will just have sex
Yeah.
with me, you know.
What? I can call someone and have them have sex with
Let's
me?
go back to. So we were talking about what, Steve?
FMVs.
Yeah, let's get back to FMV. Final Fantasy VII for the win.
Oh yes.
It's actually 7:40.
Yeah, I was trying to wrap this up, and then Ka started to go on a tirade, and
What was it about?
Sexist pigs.
well, we started on the whole
Realize
women,
once
women
again,
in gaming
I
thing.
need to reinforce the fact that the people, male or female, in retail electronics, 90% of them have no idea what they're talking
Yeah,
about.
I know that, but it's just like
Oh,
so
that's true.
annoying. Don't hire people like why? It just
I
bothers
was gonna
me.
call. I was just
Don't
calling
they
someone
have
to see if they
interviews
had
for the
sex with
reason
me.
of
I
seeing
guess
if
it's-
you know something? She couldn't even lie.
Answer is no.
She couldn't even lie
I've
about
got
knowing
the-
about video games.
I've got the 8-ball.
If
Well, you should have
said-
seen the weird ass look that I got from the guy at Circuit City when I was gonna buy Loco Roco, and he's like,
75%.
and I said, hey, he's like, hey, it's a pretty game. I'm like going, yeah, I enjoyed it. He's like going, really? You gonna play it yourself? I'm like, what?
No,
Yeah.
Well,
no, I'm gonna
you know,
play it with my dog.
No,
I
actually,
thought I'd use my ring. What?
I get that too. It's actually guys who buy RPGs you get weird looks.
You know,
from-
it didn't used
from
to be
game
the girl
stores.
thing. I
No,
mean,
it
it is
didn't.
now,
I
but
don't
No,
girls.
it's guys that
Um,
buy the touching witch game that gets weird.
Hey,
looks.
I ordered that
That
online.
was an
Touching
online
witch.
order. What?
Yeah, you touch
the
witches.
witch touching game.
Yeah, witch touching.
So, what?
It's like a DS game
And you touched witches
with
in
your
what
stylus,
regard?
if you know what I mean.
Your hard, rigid stylus rubbing up against a
Yes,
witch
yes.
in a
I
particular
get
way.
my metal tip stylus out.
Anyway,
know.
you were saying something about RPGs.
Oh, no, I was just saying
Well,
that
no,
it's weird how RPGs these days are like girl games, like. But it used to be the case that like if you bought an RPG, you were some sort of like mad hardcore gamer, and girls just didn't play those.
Well,
All girls played was
That's
Tetris.
because at some point in time in the history, RPGs were hardcore games. Now they're like,
This is true, yeah.
Changed it all.
well, no, then it turned into a movie.
Yeah. Then
How
there was
Xenosaga?
like
Xenosaga.
then there was like back rubbing scenes in the Final Fantasy.
Well, it all
That's what makes
changed.
it hot,
And then-
dude.
and then-
It all
Yeah.
changed when your elementals started casting spells that took 14 hours.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
they
I
were
didn't actually
pretty.
get those, but,
They were pretty though.
Blue Dragons.
They were pretty. They were pretty.
All right.
Dragon's pretty fun.
Well,
Mass Effect
thumbs
might
up.
be awesome.
Do you like
Oh.
Japanese RPGs of drawing
well, I guess that's going to. I
Like
guess
Beyond the Beyond.
no, Beyond the Beyond was
Beyond the
just.
Beyond just sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's grind.
No, because it sucks.
Don't contradict me
Sucks.
It's not a
It-
contradiction.
in front of the children.
Grind and suck can be safely assumed as synonymous.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's
Point-
so sad that we're, like, not even talking about porn.
Well, we weren't supposed to be talking about porn to begin with, but
I know,
that,
we're all
that's
like
why I'm trying
grind
to. I'm trying
I
to
think-
end this podcast.
I think I'd rather talk about porn at this point.
All right.
Guy,
Well, I
of
guess that's
course.
it. Since
You
the
like to
store
talk
that we're
about porn,
well,
too.
well, the
Porn.
store that we're recording
I know.
in is going to be closing in 15 minutes. So I should probably wrap it up.
Because we've been yammering for an hour and a half.
Your mom.
Well,
As
that's your
as
answer
opposed
to
to
everything.
anything else.
I yammered
Yeah.
your mom last night.
Wow, how ladylike that was. I wonder why Ka doesn't get hit on in video game
I
stores.
did get hit on. I got hit on the other day. It was so weird. I told you about
Well,
it.
you probably need to find another guy
I
that
was
likes
gonna tell you
Barbie
another
horse
story about being
adventures.
hit on by, and this was a PSP
A
story.
gas
No,
station.
and I said to
attendant?
him, he was all like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy a PSP," and this was like last year, and there was nothing for the PSP except for maybe some movies or something. I was like, "Oh, what for?" I thought maybe he wanted to play Metal Gear or something. I'm always happy to talk about Metal Gear, but he was all like, "Oh, I don't know," and that was just like, instantly I was wary. I was like, "Well, what do you mean you don't know?" And he's like, "Well, it just looks cool," and I was like, "Okay." But I was thinking, well, if I had a PSP, the reason I wanted one at the time is because I wanted to emulate the Super Nintendo and the PlayStation, right? So I was all like, oh, where are you going to emulate, like, the blah, blah, blah? And he's like, what's an emulator? And I was like, okay, I'm so not interested in you romantically ever. Because, like, it didn't matter. He was kind of cute, actually, but,
Hey,
like, the thing
You
is,
should have heard the previous one that she had about the 300 thing, where
Hey,
like,
Ka.
he didn't realize it was
Like-
based on something.
Ka,
Oh, yeah, Jesus.
Ka, I know what an emulator is.
yeah, but I don't want to do you.
Who are you?
Yes, you do.
I know.
Shut up.
But the point is that, like, you can be cute and stuff, but if you don't know about nerdy crap, I don't want to date you. I'm sorry.
We know about nerdy crap,
Yeah, but you
don't.
suck. You suck. You have to be cute and know about nerdy crap. God.
All right, well, that's it for the retail podcast as much as it was. So I'm going to end it now before my
Too
brain
early to
explodes.
predict is what the
Yeah, too
Magic
early
8
to
Ball
predict.
says.
Yeah. I should probably not do this
No, I
again.
want chicken.
At least at the store.
I'm hungry.
Hey, listen, it's
I'm hungry.
It's a dynamic podcast.
It is. We are.
Chicken.
This may
I
come as a
feel like
complete
chicken
shock
tonight,
We
like
are
chicken tonight.
anonymous.
to the
We
8
are
people
legion.
who listen to this. It may come as a complete surprise, but this is completely unscripted in any way.
Wow, really?
No, we wrote in every single line
It's
here.
probably
We
more
worked
interesting.
hard on it.
It's
I hope
probably
you like
about
it.
700 times more interesting than the E3 review we did.
Well,
Well,
how do
the E3 review involved you going meh.
If this were a Kevin Smith film, you'd be laughing by now.
That was our good friend Kennedy, who does not play games. He's too good for video games.
I told him to play Dynasty Warriors.
You play
but he wouldn't
Half-Life.
do it.
That doesn't count.
Dynasty Warriors is like history.
All right, I want to go watch the emo.
It's
kid
historical.
All right.
Samurai Warriors is historical. Did you know that Nobunaga was like gay for Mitsuhide or something?
Yeah, and he
sure,
was
okay.
also a demon, and he.
He was
You
a
know-
demon and he had feathers flying out his ass.
Okay.
Hot feathers.
All right. I'm ending this. I'm ending this podcast now before Ka
We're
says
pulling the
anything.
plug.